What's up, dudes? It's the Vigorous Q&A again. Yes, it's already Saturday. Time flew by, and here we are again for all of the bodybuilding and performance-enhancing drug-related questions. Okay, let's get started with the, what was it called? Oh yeah, the disclaimer. All right, that was it. I hope you got it. Couple updates. So we did the Operation Gyno video, dropped last Monday. So everything is going well so far, right? Everything is fully healed. The incisions under my nipple site are basically non-existent now, in my armpits as well. The incision on my leg is almost recovered. I think I can remove the waterproof bandages about a week from now. Yesterday, I finally went to the gym again after 2 months. Yes, 2 months. First time gym in this year. 2 months of no gym. I'm sore everywhere besides my lower body because it will take, I probably won't train lower body for February, nice on the calendar, and then I'll start training lower body in March again. So I have adequate time to kind of heal those 7 screws that were removed from my leg. And well, there's obviously 7 holes there. So vitamin K, vitamin D3, and calcium are being megadosed right now as is the growth hormone and the testosterone. Since all the incisions are fully healed now, I'm going to stop the BBC 157, the TB 500, the Anavar, the micronized progesterone. I'm going to increase my testosterone from, let's say, 1 ampule bare testifier into 2 ampules. So that's from, let's say, 310 to 620, 625 milligrams per week. I will have to check my serum estradiol levels, obviously, because I'm not sure how high those will be without the use of an aromatase inhibitor. But then by the time February is over and March starts, then the follistatin experiments will start. And then I'll start comparing, what was it, epicatechin to oral YK11 to injectable YK11 to follistatin. And then I'll just let my serum estradiol levels run sky high because, well, the only side effect I got was gyno, and that's now surgically removed, right? Fingers crossed that everything was removed. And otherwise, if as soon as I feel some nipple sensitivity and issues there, then, well, I'm going on an aromatase inhibitor. I'm not going to wait until the YK11 protocol starts. So that's basically the update. Anavar, all the healing peptides, GHK copper, micronized progesterone, all that stuff is coming out. The growth hormone is coming out as well because I want to run that follistatin experiment just with a testosterone base and then epicatechin. Testosterone base, oral YK11. Testosterone base, injectable YK11. Testosterone base, injectable follistatin 344, right? Because you guys are always complaining, Steve, you don't know, you take so many compounds together, you don't know what's doing what. Well, this is the last experiment I really want to run. For the sake of the community, let's figure out a higher truth. Is follistatin really that beneficial for muscle gains on 625 tests weekly? All right, so that was the Operation Gyno protocol. Let's see. Muscle Nomads dropped. Didn't get so many views, but you guys should watch it. It's basically just a casual conversation between me and Aaron about his life in Las Vegas. So if you want to watch that, it's a link down below. And it was a lot of fun to catch up with him. He's doing very well over there, and his show is, well, a couple weeks from now. I won't be attending, unfortunately. I'm not coming to the Arnold Classic, but I'll be tuning into the live stream nonetheless. And the Anabolic Roundtable, episode 9, also dropped. Yeah. You guys all thought everything was S tier, but you didn't watch it to the end. And we decided from the beginning to troll you guys a little bit because some of you were so emotionally attached to certain compounds, and then they were being classified as F tier or D tier or E tier, and then you got so upset. And you got butthurt, you got your heart and your feelings broken. So we put everything in S tier, besides Tolbasartan and what else was it? I can't even remember. I think we put 2 compounds in F tier and everything in S tier, but the real tier list is at the end, right? So you will be rewarded if you watch it all the way through or use the timestamps, which Alvaro already posted. So yeah, I hope you guys caught on to the joke. And for the guys that didn't caught on to the joke, joke's on you, motherfuckers. It's been 4 minutes in, so now we can start swearing. All right. Oh yeah, I'm still looking for DHT Bathmate results. So for the guys that join in on a Bathmate plus DHT cream and all the healing peptides and PE, growth promoting compounds, please send me your reports, please, because we don't have enough data as of yet. I think only 3 people send in their reports, myself included. That's 4 people. That's not enough for statistical analysis. So for the 50, 70 guys, and otherwise I'm just going to start emailing you separately for the guys that requested this protocol before I posted it publicly. I'll probably just send out an email like, hey, what's up? Send me your fucking protocol and see what happens, see how much gains you got, so we can have some statistical analysis by the time I get to the DHT Bathmate results experiment video. Because right now on the to-do list, Today I recorded, let's say 50% of the How to Get Your Wife Pregnant video. That was a 70-page script. Yeah, you know, you guys, when I do it right? When I do it, it's proper with full citations and a boatload of scientific information that you need to know. If you want to get your wife pregnant, it will get no views, but I'm surely it will contribute to some pregnancies in the fitness industry, and then you can say gladly, you know, 9 months from now, 2 years from now, Steve is the one that helped me get wifey pregnant. So 50% of that video is recorded. I'll record the other 50% Monday, and then I'll start on the methylene blue deep dive, then the cerebral lysine deep dive, and then I want to do the DHT and Bathmate deep dive, and then the Richard deep dive, and then after that, I guess we'll see what's next. But I'll try to stick to one deep dive per week from now on, right? I'm right back on a regular schedule. No traveling, no surgeries, no excuses until my daughter is born. So we got, well, a couple more months of hard work, and then I might be gone for a bit. So I'll try to get as much done as I can. All right, where are we? So if I sound a little bit raspy, it's because I recorded for 2.5 hours today, and I had a consultation. This throat is well used. Rip earphones. Let's do some member questions. Maximal asks, hey Steve, on my lazy man's TRT protocol, 250 milligrams Bayer tested viron, so that's actually 325 because those Bayer's ampules are overfilled. Let's see, every other day HCG, 500 IUs, quarter or 3/4 aromacin tablets per week, I'm assuming. Daily 25 milligrams DHA, 30 milligrams pregnenolone, bloods, testosterone 9 nanograms per deciliter, estradiol 65, progesterone 13, DHA sulfate 108. On a range, oh, that's still pretty low. Beta HCG 2.1. Okay, so I would say that your DHA sulfate levels are pretty low for 25 milligrams DHA per day. I would increase that to 50 milligrams daily. Your estradiol might come up a little bit, and your testosterone levels might come up, but I would say that this total testosterone to estradiol ratio is very, very, very favorable. Beta HCG is low, but it depends on if you checked it the day after your injection or the day of your injection, meaning that it's every other day, almost 2 days, well, 2 days after your last injection. If it's the day after your injection, I would say that that's too low. For 500 IUs HGH SubQ, I would expect 12, 13, 15 milliIUs per milliliter or IUs per liter. Again, go with recombinant HCG over urine purified HCG. And that's what I always recommend. It will also be discussed in the HCG deep dive, which you can find a link to, and the fertility video. Not sure how long we're going to last today. Commissioned asks, taking 100 milligrams testosterone cypionate twice weekly, 200 milligrams a week. If I wanted to add in drostanolone, I mean, so that's a masterone enanthate. Could I just pin it twice per week with my testosterone cypionate, or should I be taking it more frequently than that? So cypionate and enanthate have very comparable half-lives. I would say yes to that. 100 milligrams test cyp and 100 milligrams drostanolone enanthate Monday, and again on Friday. You're welcome. Adrian Tunn, the most shredded guy in the chat, asks, hey Daddy Steve, not a bodybuilding question, but do you have a Ninja CREAMi, or do you stay away from whey and milk products? So I have a Ninja CREAMi. That's actually Aaron's old Ninja CREAMi, who apparently destroyed his, no, not destroyed, but he used it well and thoroughly. He cleaned it before he delivered it here, but I haven't used it. I looked at the recipes and I'm like, you know, with my digestive issues, like again, I have my my report here, right, with all the foods I shouldn't be eating. So I can't have yogurt. I can't have casein. So that's what is it? Yogurt and cottage cheese is off the menu. And I can't have almonds, including almond butter. So, or regular butter. So, you know, I could use like whey protein, but that has a little bit of, you know, dairy products as well, like beta-lactoglobulin, cow's milk, I can't have. So I'm just going to forego the Ninja CREAMi for a while until I find a recipe that really suits me. And, you know, if I know that I'm going to ruin my stomach, I'm just going to have Ben and Jerry. Which so far so good. This year I've followed the guidelines of my foods that I should be avoiding very, very strictly. Besides one time, I think, where I had 2 eggs at a place because I had like an English breakfast. And I was like, you know, 2 eggs should be okay. And actually I was okay. So eating eggs every single day, egg whites, stomach to hear like full-blown palumboism, but now my digestion is very good. Yeah, so at one point I'll use a Ninja Creamy, but you guys know me, I don't really have anything in the house worth snacking on besides maybe some the mixed nuts that I can have. And if I do want to go out, or if I do want to have something nice, I just go out and get what I see there because it's too tempting if it's in the house. Benjamin asks, he's halfway through his Anavar cycle, got sick with a cold. Should I stop the Anavar? Any recommendations? No, just continue with the Anavar and then rest at home. Like getting over a common cold is just basically what your body's trying to do. Keep your body warm, drink a lot of fluids, maybe take some vitamin C, even though scientifically it hasn't been shown to really help get over a common cold. And if it's a severe upper respiratory infections, that's what the antibiotics are there for, right? Amoxicillin, doxycycline, that kind of stuff. But if you just have a common cold, you just got to ride it out, drink a lot of tea. And, ginger tea is usually pretty good to kind of clean the throat. And but you can get over it in a couple days. So the half-life of Anavar is multiple days. The elimination time is multiple days. So if you stop it now, by the time you go back to the gym, you need multiple days to build it back up again. So I would just continue. And Anavar is prescribed in many diseases, not for the common cold, but since it's prescribed for many kinds of diseases, I would just continue it. Blue Collar Bodybuilding, what's up, big dudes? Another Vigorous Steve live. Welcome and thanks for joining. Hopefully I can join Paul's chat or live stream tomorrow, but it's always a little bit difficult on Sunday because it's usually wifey day. And if I skip out on wifey day too often, then there's, well, no husband day. You guys all know what that means. Let's see. Patrick asks, you've talked about matching carrier oil half-lives with the ester half-life. What specifically happens when the oil has a much shorter half-life than the active ingredient? So if you put like testosterone enanthate in MCT oil, the MCT oil absorbs and disperses from the injection depot very, very fast. Now with testosterone enanthate, it's not really an issue because some of that will be absorbed into the systemic circulation where the enanthate can be metabolized from the testosterone, making it biologically active when it's being transported with albumin, sexual binding globulin, or transporting around free, right? The magic anabolic free testosterone. So it increases, it shortens the half-life of the testosterone enanthate from, let's say, 8 to 12 days to 5 days because it absorbs so rapidly. So you have a higher concentration of testosterone enanthate hitting the bloodstream, and now these carboxylesterases or the phosphodiesterase can metabolize the enanthate away, and now you have more testosterone. If this happens with testosterone propionate in MCT oil, testosterone propionate can metabolize at the injection site, doesn't have to enter systemic circulation because the ester is so short. So the lipases work on the MCT oil, and the esterases and the carboxylesterases and phosphodiesterases work on the propionate. And now you have testosterone suspension at the injection site, post-injection pain galore. So for longer esters in carrier oils with a rapid absorption like MCT oil or safflower oil, I think, and not really commonly used, but MCT, ethyl oleate, propylene glycol, that doesn't really seem to be a problem because it still takes a while for the enanthate to metabolize away, or the endocannabinoid, andesylate, decanoate, the cypionate, etc. That takes a while to be metabolized away. But if it's an acetate or a propionate ester, that takes significantly less time to be metabolized away and can cause post-injection pain if it's in something like MCT, safflower oil, or anything with a lower dynamic viscosity rating. Again, I can't remember off the top of my head, so please watch the carrier oil deep dive video series, or the carrier oil deep dive and the ester deep dive. I have two of them. Yeah, I'm sure you can find it, and then you can kind of piece it together. So shorter esters in more viscous oil, post-injection pain, longer esters in more viscous oil, no post-injection pain, and longer esters in more viscous or less viscous. So let's leave it at thick and thin. Shorter esters in thin oil, post-injection pain. Shorter esters in thick oil, no injection pain. Longer esters in thin oil, no injection pain. And longer esters in thick oil, no injection pain. All right. I hope I didn't mispronounce anything there, but yeah, you get the gist of it. And otherwise, watch those deep dives, man. Can you speak Dutch? Nee, ik kan Nederlands niet meer spreken. Ik ben het helemaal verleerd. En nadat ik in Azië woon, 18 jaar en voornamelijk Engels praat, ik spreek die taal niet meer. Dus als je me een berichtje stuurt op Instagram, krijg je een Engels antwoord terug. You're welcome. Chase irons. Damn, bro, 2 months off the gym. Basically, same as me. I barely been in the gym since the O, but this week I finally feel normal and got to hit the gym hard. Dude, it seems like everybody got fucked after the O. Like Paul, I got all kinds of issues with his shoulder and MRSA in his finger, and he hasn't really been serious. And then you got issues. Being sick left and right, with the family and stuff. And dude, you get your own home gym, which is, yeah, I think it's even worse than me. Like I have to travel to the gym, right? But your gym is the office, or your office is the gym. So I would be heartbroken if I go to my office and I see a gym next door and I just feel too sick to train. So, but I feel your pain, man. 2 months off the gym and with all these surgeries, I couldn't even walk for a week. It was freaking terrible. But having a motorcycle accident, not being able to walk for 3 months, and then taking another 3 months just to do a normal barbell squat, that was way worse. That was way worse, man. Plus, it's good to let everything heal. Like we're large and in charge, a lot of scar tissue, a lot of micro injuries. So now we're fully healed up, and then you can. Well, you're still way bigger than I am, so you'll look good for the Arnold Classic, right? You can hold down the fort for me as well with your size, and then if everything goes well, I'm sure I can sneak out for like 5 to 7 days and make it to the Mr. Olympia. But right now, it's just, man, it's too much. Benjamin, $2. Hello, cycle number 5. Let's see. Testosterone 500 milligrams, Primo 500 milligrams, MPP 300 milligrams for 16 weeks. Kickstart with Anadrol 25 milligrams for 6 weeks. 35-year-old, 7% body fat. I would, if you're starting from TRT, I would just have your dosages: 250 test, 250 Primo, 150 NPP for 8 weeks, and then bump up to 500 test, 500 Primo, and 300 NPP, because you're not going to make as much gains of this cycle in the beginning, because it takes a while for you to build up your strength, your metabolism, your anabolism, your overall androgen receptor sensitivity. So start low, build your way up. That is for the same for every cycle. You don't need to kickstart with the Anadrol. Save that for the end, because by week 16 you're not ready to throw in the towel yet. So you do week 1 to 8, 250 test, 250 Primo, 150 NPP. Then week 9 to 16, you do 500 test, 500 Primo, 300 MPP. And then week 17 to 20, you do, or 17 to 22, right? So 7 weeks, 6 weeks. You throw in the Anadrol on top, man. And then don't be a fucking pansy and take 50 milligrams. 25 milligrams, come on, man. If you're going to do it, just do it hard. Yeah. And if you're 7% body fat, I'm sure you're going to be more happy with this cycle than getting a bunch of bloat at the beginning and not gaining more muscle mass to compensate for the bloat. What's up, Chase? Hope you're feeling better after the shingles. Time to fire up the 5-gram stack. Yeah. Chase kind of typecast himself that it's like 5 grams or nothing. 5 grams or get the fuck out, Chase. Love the last podcast. That's great chemistry. Yeah, dude, I fucking laughed so hard. We had like 30 minutes of a prelude, which we didn't record. That's too spicy for. And then afterwards, we went for another 30 minutes. I think I talked with these guys last week on Wednesday for what, 3.5 hours or 3 hours or something. Yeah, man, it's like the highlight of my month, that podcast. From a YouTube perspective, like I have highlights every day. Don't worry about that. But from a recording perspective, it's like with those two guys, it's a lot of fun. Alvaro said, I got trolled hard when making attempts. It was really funny at the reveal, though. Yeah. Yeah, you guys need to be trolled sometimes. Let's see. Sub Dave back on 2,500 milligrams test and 89 use Serostim per day. So that's basically half Chase's max dose regarding testosterone. But 2.5 grams of test, that's where it's at, man. Yeah, that's where it's at. All right, Anabolic Roundtable Fat Burner episode was great. Thank you. Pack Hustle, high blood urine nitrogen and creatinine for a while, but EGFR shows reading was above 60% or above 60 and blood pressure in check. Any way to lower dose? Nope. No, I know it's kind of a byproduct. Of working out. By ALT and AST is relatively lower. It's just part of the game, man. If you eat meat, if you eat creatine monohydrate, if you train hard, your creatinine is going to be elevated, but you can lower your blood urea. You're going to lower both blood urea, nitrogen, and creatinine by drinking more water. and taking astragalo's root extract or the astragaloside 4 extract at 100 milligrams twice per day. Using a blood pressure medication to help with the urine flow, right, and lowering the water retention, allowing for more filtration through the kidney. So it's just a total package. But check your cystatin C and do a 24-hour urine collection test to see if there's any kidney damage. I find it very unlikely. And if that's the case, then, well, you come off cycle, you lower your protein, and you do everything you need to do to bring your GFR up again. And it's the true GFR, right? Based on your 24-hour urine collection test, checking your serum creatinine and serum cystatin C to your urine creatinine and urine cystatin C while checking urinary albumin levels as well. So the blood urine nitrogen and creatinine being elevated is common. And if you know that your kidneys are working fine, then I would not worry about it too much. But if you see a trend of both of them going upwards and they keep going upwards, even though you're trying to do everything right, then yeah, I would start to get worried. So I've had my blood urine nitrogen as high as 35, milligrams per deciliter, and creatinine 1.95 milligrams per deciliter. And now it's way lower, even though I'm bigger than I used to be. So, change your diet and change your, don't train so much to failure. That also increases your creatinine levels. And now I leave a couple reps in reserve, but I take less gear than I used to. All right. Let's see. Anton, hey Steve, my normal resting heart rate is around 47 to 50 beats per minute. Oh, bradycardia. I've had that very many times while running Nebivolol. Been on 4.5 milligrams per week of retatrutide for 2 months, and it raised my resting heart rate to 67 to 70, which is way too high. That's not way too high. That's a normal resting heart rate. But yes, retatrutide is known to increase your resting heart rate by 10, 15, maybe even 20 points. So you went from 47 to 67, and the highest range 50 to 70. So that's the highest possible increase you could get. What do you think about taking 5 to 10 milligrams Nebivolol to counter it? Yeah, or you could take the retatrutide out. Not what you wanted to hear, right? Maybe you should take 1 milligram retatrutide Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 milligrams per week. Anyway, try 5 milligrams Nebivolol and see if that brings your resting heart rate down. You could also increase the steady state cardio, or maybe increase the intensity of your steady state cardio to bring your resting heart rate down. Right? Throwing the kitchen sink at it isn't always the answer, but if you're doing everything right and you don't want to come off the retatrutide and you feel that a resting heart rate of 70 is too high, and you're not on a copious amount of stimulants or clenbuterol or whatnot, then yeah, throw in the Nebivolol, man. People are already dropping Arimidex and Aromacid because you guys joked on the Anabolic Roundtable saying it was poison. Yeah, people take it too serious, man. They can't do their own research. It's a shame, honestly. It's honestly a shame. And that's not even making it towards the end of the video. Well, it is what it is. Back hustle. I have subclinical hypothyroidism with my TSH at 11. Wow, that's pretty high. Yeah. Doctor prescribed me 50 micrograms T4, but I was seeing the roundtable yesterday on T3. Could you at least expand on that if replacing makes sense? Well, this is a medical condition. So we discuss these kinds of things in context of people being healthy, but you have a medical condition and I'm not suitable to give you medical advice. Right? I give you advice, if you want to take steroids, do XYZ to keep you healthy. But if you have subclinical hypothyroidism due to Hashimoto's disease or an iodine malabsorption or a selenium malabsorption or whatnot, then please just discuss that with your doctor, dude. I'm not your doctor, right? So, maybe run it past him instead of me. They're the ones that are like a thyroid specialist is specialized in thyroid. I'm specialized in keeping you healthy while taking steroids. So if you're low thyroid because you've been dieting for a longer period of time and I see that your TSH is slightly elevated, your T4 is low and T3 is low, then yes, I would maybe recommend 50 micrograms T3 and 25 micrograms T4. Or sorry, 50 micrograms T4 and 25 micrograms T3 split into 2 servings, morning and afternoon, or full serving before bed if that doesn't keep you awake, depending on when you take your growth hormone. But right, in this case, with a TSH of 11, I don't know, thyroid peroxidase, thyroid binding globulins, all those things you need to test, and then discuss that with your physician because that's what they're specialized in, man. Don't find your medical advice online. You'll be sadly disappointed that you did. Volk, can I blast HCG from time to time to retain some fertility on TRT? I don't feel good on HCG and it's expensive, so I don't use it continuously. Would 2 to 4 times a year be sufficient to retain some function? So based on my HCG deep dive, it takes, and my research for the fertility video, it takes about 90 days for semen parameters to really improve. So are you going to blast it 90 days, 4 times a year? That's 1 year straight. Like you can improve your libido with a 2-week blast of HCG, 1,000 IUs, 3 times per week for 2 weeks. That usually is enough to restore your libido if you crush your SHBG and your estradiol levels by megadosing the aromatase inhibitors, for example, or doing something silly like a low-test hymastrone or hyprimo cycle, or both. Right? I do 125 tests and a gram primo. All right, maybe you deserve no libido. Right? That's just plain stupidity. And in that case, the blasting HCG for 2 weeks at 1,000 IUs 3 times per week, that works for libido, but not for fertility. Spermatogenesis and maturation takes weeks to months. So you'll have to run it continuously. And if you don't feel good on HCG, enclomiphene, risky, can cause blood clots. I discussed it in the pregnancy video as well. And you can just type in enclomiphene in the, clinical trials, and you get the clinical trial, which shows that 0.5% or 0.33% of the participants developed a pulmonary embolism or deep vein thrombosis. Now, you might say 0.5%, 0.33%, that's pretty low. It's still a possibility, dude. But then again, the testosterone replacement has also been linked to deep vein thrombosis. So, but if you take testosterone replacement and enclomiphene, how much do you increase your risk? I don't know, plus enclomiphene or clomid makes you feel like ass. So if you don't feel good on HCG, maybe use gestational follicle stimulating hormone. That improves fertility parameters a lot more than human chorionic gonadotropin does. And nobody that I met, and my personal experience also, is that follicle stimulating hormone is benign besides on your wallet. Like if you think HCG is expensive, get ready to dish out for FSH. Now, that being said, exogenous testosterone might permeate into the testicles and initiate spermatogenesis to a certain extent. So before you proceed, why don't you do a semen analysis and then take it from there? Because if your semen parameters are not low, maybe some of the exogenous testosterone is initiating spermatogenesis by permeating into the testicles. And to a similar extent, intratesticular testosterone would initiate spermatogenesis, whether that's stimulated by HCG or LH. So if you don't feel good on it, just do a semen analysis, see where you're at. And well, there's the old wives' tale that if you blast 500 tests or 1,000 tests, that semen parameters will be pretty good. But that doesn't seem to work for everybody. Again, just wait a week and everything will be explained in that deep dive. Do you think there's an upper limit to testosterone levels on TRT as you age into your 50s, 60s, and beyond before health issues are a concern, or just based on keeping good lab results? Yeah, I'm sure at one point you just don't feel as good because you metabolize the exogenous testosterone slower, and maybe things in life will change. So if you run 500 tests in your 40s, maybe that's 300 in your 50s, and then 250 or 200 in your 60s, and then 150 in your 70s, and maybe by 80, you're like, fuck this shit, I'm done injecting, I have so much scar tissue, and I'm kind of too old, and I don't give a fuck anymore. I'll just take oral DHEA. Right? Things change, man. Priorities change, your body changes. As long as you stay on top of your health and you approach it with a little bit of intellect and knowledge, then I'm sure you can make the appropriate adjustments. And there's plenty of guys that I know that are in their 60s that are running 500 tests. Yeah, but maybe they started a little bit later, right? Not like me, where you start like 26, you've been blasting for 15 years and the cracks are already starting to show. So you have to be a little bit more careful. But yeah, if you start late, basically the window of exposure, instead of, let's say mid 20s to 40s, 15 years, is now from 50 to 65. And then you do less, the same exposure duration, but it's at a later stage in life. So maybe you can enjoy higher dose just later on in life. And again, it depends on what else you do. If you've been eating healthy, if you have exercise, if you live in a low oxidative stress environment, right? All that thing contributes. But I'm sure for most people, eventually, as you get older, your testosterone levels need to decline when you're taking TRT because you probably just don't feel so good. And your blood pressure management and that kind of stuff just gets worse and worse and worse. Which food allergy test did you do? Do you have a place in the USA where they can perform it? I have no idea where that is in the USA, but I'm sure a simple Google search will find it. So I didn't do the spot test. I did the immunoglobulin test through serum. And then, you know, here in Thailand, you get like a little result where, well, you can't see it anyway, but you know, a very strong reaction and a strong reaction and a moderate reaction and no reaction. So in the no reaction foods, you can just continue to eat. Now, food allergy tests through the spot or through serum analysis usually includes the foods that you eat frequently because your body eventually builds up some sort of immunoglobulin tolerance to it. And so that for me, that's the egg whites. So that if you eat like 12 to 14 egg whites per day, then obviously, eventually your body's going to say, fuck you. I'm done with that shit. Same for the almonds and the cashew nuts. So it's very common for you to see foods that you commonly eat. So now I just have beef, chicken, a little bit of pork tenderloin, beef liver, salmon. The chia seeds I reintroduced, that wasn't an issue. And some seeds, mixed seeds, like pumpkin seeds, and the sunflower seeds and that kind of stuff if you want to have a little bit of additional fat. I removed all the condiments and spices besides salt and pepper. So I have some kimchi here and there and some sauerkraut and my good old kale sprayed with olive oil. That goes into the air fryer, so I have like a crispy bed and then, you know, minced meat on top. Absolutely stellar. Not really, but it gets the job done. And, you know, see, fucking cannon's still floating. And I can pull a vacuum again. It's been a while. Yep, we already did this one. Kale, what's up? Kale Emeski. Oi. It must be from New Zealand or Australia. Steve, what is the best time to use SLU for maximum fat loss, and should it take it with or without food? I would take it on an empty stomach multiple times per day because the half-life seems to be reasonably short. But again, no human clinical data, so half-lives in animals doesn't really translate well into half-lives in humans. 250 micrograms once, 2 times, 3 times, maybe 4 times per day. And that seems to really upregulate the energy levels and help with fat loss. But I ran SLU with Motzi and methylene blue and copious amounts of food, and it did not prevent me from gaining body fat. So would I've gained more? Perhaps, but I still got fat, so I can out-eat any fat burner on the market. Yeah, good on you, Steve. I'm proud of you. 16 weeks at 16 weeks at 500 milligrams testosterone, I'm assuming. Now back to TRT at 120 milligrams per week. I never had issues titrating up, but when I drop down, I get acne, taking dinomethane and calcium diglucarate, Lyme cycline, so I guess that's a antibiotic. Estradiol is in range. Any ideas why that only happens when dropping down? Yeah, it's just hormonal fluctuations. Acne seems to really favor hormonal fluctuations. So raising it up seems to go slower regarding the hormonal fluctuation than decreasing it, because if you go from 500 to 120, even though that's self-tapering, the testosterone and the esters metabolize from the system faster than it takes to reach peak serum concentrations. And maybe your body just likes 500 tests, man. Maybe that should be your TRT. Add some beef liver to your diet, 30 grams, 50 grams per day, and your acne will be gone. It's since I started it, my face cleared up so much. Right? I don't have oily skin anymore because I eat a lot of salmon per day and I have like all these fat soluble vitamins that maybe make my skin a little bit greasy. And I add 50 grams of beef liver containing a boatload of retinol, vitamin A, and super clean, bro. Yeah. Maybe it's all the BPC 157 and TB 500 lowering inflammation. So that's coming out this week. So next week, if I'm covered in pimples, don't take my advice for the beef liver. But for now, I would say throw in some beef liver and maybe you do like, I don't know, 2 weeks on 500, 2 weeks on 250, and then 2 weeks on 200, and then 120. I taper it down slower, but most of the steroids are self-tapering. It takes about 6 weeks from 500 tests to 120 tests to kind of reach normal stable serum concentrations. But yeah, it happens, man. A lot of people come off cycle and they get acne or hair loss or libido issues. It's part of the roller coaster, man. Wifey Day is important. Mine's the Nightmates homemade sausage pizza. Is that code? Oh, that's in the blue collar household. It might be called for something else. Homemade pizza. Well, home and then sauce. Yeah, so that's what I thought. Yeah, I read through the lines before I read the full thing. So sausage on the side is always the best. Yeah. Well, you guys know what we mean. Well, impronounceable name. Hey, Steve, estrone and serums reduce IGF-1 production. Avoid EQ and serum while using Primo or AI to control estradiol. Got worse gains on test and EQ versus test solo. Okay. Well, if you figured it out, go with test solo and keep track of your serum IGF-1 levels. Yeah, but estradiol, not estrone, seems to contribute to IGF-1 production, and EQ converts into estrone, but testosterone converts into estradiol, but EQ also lowers the conversion of testosterone into estradiol, same as Primo does, or an aromatase inhibitor does. So in all context, I would just keep track of your serum estrone, estradiol, testosterone, IGF-1 levels, and whatever you feel is the best combination gains-wise, stick to that. Because not everybody responds the same way. Matt Tad, hey Papa Steve, what ratio of test Deca worked best for you? I heard low test, high Deca was better. Depends on if you're a testosterone non-responder, right? You have guys do 100 tests and 1,000 Deca. If that works for you, go for it. I liked a reasonably hard test and therapeutic dosages of up to 200 milligrams Deca, but my last cycle, 500 tests, 500 Deca, that's a 1-to-1 ratio, and I made it way worse with 150 milligrams mint on top. That's, let's say, a 3-3-1 ratio, right? 3 parts test, 3 parts Deca, 1 part Trestolone. Close enough. Oh, and then 1 part 3-3. Yeah, 2. 3-3-1-2 for 200 milligrams Anadrol, give or take. Yeah, that worked very well, man. And then with a YK11, it was also 2, give or take, 210 milligrams YK11. Fuck, man, it was one hell of a cycle, dude. I was stronger than an ox, but my estradiol levels were not that high. So test and Deca, if you don't use an aromatase inhibitor or a Primo or something like that, then I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5-to-1. But if you want to go with low test and high Deca, go for it, man. It's whatever works for you. Whatever works for you. But the only way of figuring that out is by getting your fucking hands dirty, and that's half the fun of this bodybuilding stuff. Getting your hands dirty and coming up with a higher truth that works for you, that is the way to go. Steve, my prolactin is at 28 with sensitive estradiol at 49 picograms per milliliter, running 250 milligrams testosterone weekly with 5 IUs growth hormone. Should I be concerned? That's pretty high prolactin. Feels great besides some face acne, which you recommend P5P or Caber. Yeah, I would bring your prolactin down to 12, but you know, it's not always the estradiol that is causing it. Are you smoking weed, taking kratom, recreational drugs, lack of dopamine, chronic masturbation, all that shit, right? So just, yeah, you could try vitamin B5, P5P at 100 milligrams 3 times per day, and then combine that with L-tyrosine as a building block of dopamine. Give that a week or 2. And if that doesn't improve your prolactin levels by raising your dopamine levels, then look into cabergoline at a 1/4 milligram in a single serving. If that doesn't give you a gigantic boner within 24 hours, then the prolactin is not really causing an issue. And face acne, well, acne is multifactorial, not just estrogen related. So start doing daily subcutaneous microadministrations, skip the whey, skip the dairy products, skip the chocolate, and add some beef liver to your diet, man. Yeah, it works for me. Patrick says, recently did a 38-hour fast and got slight gyno on right nipple for 1 day afterwards. What happened? Currently naturally preparing for first cycle. Thanks for Carol insight. I don't think that fasting and gyno are correlated, so please go do your blood work and see if your estradiol levels are elevated. And maybe the gyno or maybe the fasting removed a little bit of subcutaneous water, and now the gyno, which was present for years to decades, is suddenly more apparent. Right? Now you're like, oh, fuck, I noticed it because the water retention is gone. And you're lost a little bit of body fat. So go check your serum estradiol levels, go check your prolactin, progesterone, all your hormones, and then see if you need to make adjustments. But if you're estradiol levels are naturally high, then it's certainly good to know before your first cycle. You should be doing that full analysis that I have on my website. So I had to go to the article section, and then you have an article about all the blood work parameters and organ imaging and all that stuff that you need to do before your first cycle, just to be safe. And then you'll be glad that you did. Mike Freeman, what is your best recommendation of value for money nootropic stack? Many thanks. Please just go watch the Entrepreneur Deep Dive video series, man. It's and my Gorilla Mind Respawn. All in one. It's that simple. Everybody's different. I don't know how much money you have to spend. Like I like Bromantane, I like Dihexa, I like Noopept, but that gives me value for money, but maybe my value for money is disproportionately different than yours. So if you want an entry-level nootropic stack, just get Gorilla Mind Respawn. You won't be disappointed. Use my discount code to get 10% off, or wait for, you know, some sort of mega sale to get 20% or 25% off. But yeah, it's for me, it's not about value for money. It's just if it works or not. Because, well, if you're working at the highest capacity, you're earning that money right back, right? If you spend $50 on a nootropic, but you made $50,000 because of it, I don't see a problem. I don't see a fucking problem. Benjamin, would Anavar be a better finisher than Anadrol for that cycle? Dude, I can't even remember what. So whatever you prefer. If you're in the off season, do Anadrol. If you do, if you want to cut and get more shreds, you do Anavar. Maybe try YK11. You know, it's research each compound, and then whatever compound matches your goals, take that compound. Do you do online coaching? Yes, the 10-hour consultation package is now $20,000. So it doesn't matter how fast you run through those 10 hours of my time, it's $20,000. So that's the only online coaching that I have available. But full-time unlimited coaching for $500 per month, no, those days are over, man. Those days are well behind me. Yeah. Asses with glasses. There's a new one. Man, my vision is fucking great now after that LASIK eye surgery. Today I was driving around on my motorbike and I'm like, holy shit, I see a lot of asses. Not a good asses though. I know you regained a lot of weight on keto. Do you know anybody who from scratch bulked up a significant amount on a keto diet? How did it go? I mean, it went great. You guys know that I was in a good mood, high libido, good energy levels. It's just calories and nutrients, man. You don't need carbs necessarily to grow. But not everybody responds well to keto, just not like everybody responds well to carbohydrates. So you hear all these bodybuilders saying high protein or moderate protein, high carbs, and low fat. And if that works for you, I don't care. Whatever works for them, man. If it keeps them shredded and fully pumped and they make great gains, then yeah, by all means. And if you know, moderate to high protein, high fat, and low to zero carbs works for you, then do that. It doesn't matter what I did or other people do. It matters if it works for you or not. And the only real way of knowing it is by giving it a try. So whatever calories you're eating now, shift. If you're doing like 40%, 40%, 20%, so 40% protein in calories, 40% carbohydrates, and 20% in fat, then shift some of those carbohydrates or all of them to protein and fats. And then you do like, 50% protein and 50% fats, or 50% protein, 10% carbs, and 40% fats from a caloric perspective. See if that works. And start increasing the calories, because you never really know until you try it. And it doesn't matter what other people do. Other people's cycles don't matter. Other people's training philosophies don't fucking matter. Other people's caloric intake doesn't matter. The only thing that matters in bodybuilding is what works for you. And you can take other people as an inspiration and say, yeah, but it worked for Ronnie Coleman. Well, I got news for you. You are not fucking Ronnie Coleman. You're not me. You're not Dave Palumbo. You're not Dennis Wolf. You're not anybody else but yourself. So you got to figure it out. And if it works, you keep it. And if it doesn't work, then you change to something else. Do peptides like BBC 157 and TB500 have to be injected deep intramuscular in the injured site like shoulder, or is shallow intramuscular with an insulin syringe sufficient? Both will work, but I've always done it as close to the site of trauma where I want to initiate additional healing as possible. So when I did the gyno surgery and the leg surgery, I went all around my nipple. Yeah. A lot of fun. Boop, 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 boop. And then my leg was a little bit more difficult because it's so tight and you have like this much skin right on the leg. So it's a little bit difficult to pin in there. So you use what is it called? Like a coat hang or a wash clip, where you do laundry and you clip it in place. So you put that and then you just jab it in there with the skin that's standing upright. And well, I'm after 3 weeks of all these peptides, everything's fully healed. Now, if you do it systemically, of course, some of that will go into systemic circulation and end up where it needs to end up anyway, but at a much lower concentration. And since these peptides metabolize rather quickly, unless you use a dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitor, which I discussed in detail in the Operation Gyno video, which I released on Monday, then you prevent the breakdown of these peptides. But if you don't do that, then I would rather inject it close to the site of injury where you want the healing instead of anywhere else where you potentiate systemic healing. So again, dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitor like Januvia, for example, and otherwise put it close. So I did both, and I healed so fucking fast. The doctor was like, "What the fuck?" All doctors were like, "What the fuck? Why is your cornea closed? Why the fuck is you don't have a scar underneath your nipple? Why the fuck is your incision this healed 2 weeks post-op?" Just laugh. You don't give them the secrets. Micronized progesterone, bro. Good for her, good for me. Back hustle. Appreciate the answer. Crashed my hormones, including my testosterone and thyroid, during my look maxing era at 750 calories per day. God. Fuck, dude. What are you doing? Watch your content and honestly, one of the best free creators out there. Well, it's not free. I do expect a like. You guys liking? And a comment would be nice also. And if you're going to shop online, use one of my discount codes. I would highly appreciate that as well. And sit through a couple ads. But yes, I think all of this information should be out there for free. Not behind the paywall, unless it's really, really, really good content. Hint, hint. If it's really good content, it might be behind the paywall. But it should just be free. Because I found all of the information for free too. Right? Do you guys want to pay for my interpretation of scientific evidence? Of course not, dude. And then not even post the citations like all the other educators. I found this little graph. I'm going to extrapolate data from that, but putting behind the paywall without a citation. No, free, full citations. Yeah, that will never change. That will never change. And it's just, for me, it's a pissing contest. And it's a dick measuring contest because nobody else does what I do. So yeah, I'm going to make everybody else bankrupt. By putting it out there for free. And I'm fingers crossed that you guys use my discount codes, because otherwise, well, I might as well retire. Retire from making this kind of content, but then I'll have to do more cryptocurrency trading. 2 grams oral L-carnitine in post-workout plus 250 milligrams carnitine injected pre-workouts, MA carbs formula, concerns about TMAO, too much oral carnitine. Dude, if you're injecting 250 milligrams carnitine pre-workout or twice per day pre-cardio and pre-workout, you don't need oral L-carnitine L-tartrate. Yes, there are concerns with TMAO. Yeah. You know, the TMAO is actually part of antifreeze in... Which animal was that? I watched some random video on YouTube where I think it was some whale or some fish or something. Oh yeah, the Icelandic shark that lives to like 600 years old or something is like full with TMAO, and then it washes ashore and people eat it and they get full-blown liver failure or something like that. I think it was the Icelandic shark. Yes, the Icelandic shark, some sort of shark that lives in cold water, very slow metabolism, lives to like 600 years old, prevents its body from freezing by insulating all of its amino acid structures with TMAO. So in this animal, TMAO is life-saving, but for us, it causes arteriosclerosis and liver issues. So yeah, if you're worried about it, go check it over at Merrick Health. They offer this for testing in the United States. So you're paying with dollars, so I'm assuming that you're in the United States. Merrick Health discount code 10% Vigorous, right? 10% discount code is Vigorous. Link down below. They check for TMAO. And if you have concern about that, test for it. And if you have TMAO, run doxycycline 100 milligrams twice daily for 2 weeks. And then all of the bacteria that produce TMA, converting into TMAO in the liver, are dead. Or you take the oral L-carnitine out and you stick with injectable L-carnitine because that can metabolize in the intestinal tract because it doesn't go into the intestinal tract. You just have to worry about choline, which is and creatine, which is found in well, most of your meat sources. So like, oh fuck, what am I supposed to do? I've been struggling with binge eating 1 to 2 times a week for the last 2 years after losing 70 pounds prior. What protocol would you try? I am 185 pounds, 6'2". The glucagon-like peptide 1 receptor agonists. That's the only thing that gets over it, man. And then when you stop them, you'll continue binge eating unless you go to AA meetings where you discuss your binge eating disorder, or some sort of talk group where you discuss your binge eating disorder with other people suffering from binge eating disorders. And run retatrutide or tirzepatide or semaglutide until that time. It's probably cheaper running 1 milligram of dose once, 2 times or 3 times per week than eating or binging on food. So look into those, man. If you have uncontrollable appetite at certain points, then just kill your appetite with these medications. That's what they're there for. Hello, Steve. Really enjoyed your last podcast. You really fooled everybody with the S tier. Yeah, that's it had to be done. Let's see. When individuals do drug tests, the doping officer asks, have you ever been taking any natural supplements or medication that is not banned? Should you report everything you've taken that isn't on the ban list to them or not? Yeah, I always instructed my athletes just to put everything that isn't on the banned list that they've been taking, like creatine monohydrate and this and that. I just put it on there. But my athletes were clean on the day of the drug test. So just put like some shit to throw them off. Dinomethane, whey, creatine monohydrate, and this and that. But like, there would be no false positives, so it wouldn't fucking matter. But yeah, just put on there what you've been taking, and then yeah. But if you start putting dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitors and tamsulosin, Flomax, and what is it, hydrolyzed casein protein and calcium deglucarate, if you start putting that on there, then that might be like, oh, this guy's clearly trying to help with metabolite excretion. So yeah, just put the cookie cutter natty approved over-the-counter supplements on there, and then the rest you forego. Just make sure you adhere to the detection times or test in non-drug tested federations. Went 43 to 55 in 2 months. Okay. Well, I don't know what that means, dude. That's so short. It makes Japanese men laugh about how short that is. It's like this short, like, yeah, dame yamete, dude. Can't do anything with that. Can only rub like pigeons. Sweet. Haven't tried Deca yet. Currently cutting to sub 10% body fat. Before I tried Deca and Anavar, 6'1", 225 pounds at 16%. Okay, so you have some cutting to do. You can throw in a Deca where you're 8% body fat. Can you explain what T3 and T4 is and what it does to the body? Dude, what the fuck, man? What the fuck are these kinds of questions? Go to fucking Wikipedia. What is this? Some of you guys really surprised me, dude. I mean, you're going to have to sit here for 30 minutes in a lecture, and that's what the Vigorous Q&A is for. Ask fucking ChatGPT. Okay, you guys are talking about yourself. If you don't even know that, then you have no business being here, man. Hit the like button or there will be no timestamps. There will be timestamps, man. But that won't be as in depth. Kurt said we lose so much GH intramuscular. Is subcutaneous the best? So yeah, if you inject growth hormone intramuscularly, obviously it increases the absorption, but also its metabolism. And all of the studies have been done on subcutaneous administration. So if you expect the results of growth hormone based on subcutaneous administrations and you start doing intramuscular or intravenous, then your mileage might vary. I don't think it's useless if you inject growth hormone intramuscularly. You certainly deliver it faster, but do you want it faster? You know, I mentioned this in the growth hormone ebook that some guys prefer intramuscularly, but it doesn't seem to have any localized effect. Some guys, like in the Arab countries and the Indian countries, they swear by intravenous growth hormone administrations. Like it gives them much better results, a much better size, and much better IGF-1 levels. But you know, I tried it, Chase tried it, many guys in the Western world tried it, and you know, you run your experiment, and after a while, you're like, "Fuck this shit, man! It's not worth it." So you just stick with SubQ. And whether you do multiple administrations over the day or before bed, it only seems to really have a difference in side effects regarding water retention, and but the results are pretty much the same, right? It seems the results from growth hormone are kind of dose dependent. It doesn't potentiate any localized effects, but if you want to mitigate side effects at higher dosages, I would go SubQ before bed. Someone I know recommends running 500 micrograms IGF-1 LR3 daily. You mean me? In the short I posted recently, and it sounded interesting enough to attempt. Tim's are not going hypo. Well, you have an intra-workout ready? I never went hypo on this much IGF-1, man, but I'm following a ketogenic diet. So, yeah, I would do 250 micrograms IGF-1 LR3 bilaterally about an hour before the workout, and then have some sort of inter-workout nutrition with you in case you need it, or you bring a Gatorade or something like that. You know, essential amino acids, high brand cyclic dextrins with dextrose, something like that, or to fucking drink a Coca-Cola, right, with the sugar, with the high fructose corn syrup. But you know, I rarely see people going hypo unless they're really, really big and their training volume is really, really high and their carbohydrates are severely restricted. And my carbohydrates were restricted all the way up until training. I would have my carbs post-workout and I still didn't go hypo. Kaden, no question, just appreciation for everything you do. Thanks, Uncle Steve. That's Daddy Steve from now on. But I appreciate the donation, man. Thanks so much. You look fucking sick in that picture. Yeah. My LASIK is telling me you look sick. Fuck, I'm not sure if I'm gonna finish this bottle before we get to the end. $10 with no question. What's going on? Travis. Travis, where's your question? Is there any question? Well, I'll be looking at. Oh, here you go. I get gyno overnight. Not enough time for blood work. 1 after a winstrol only cycle. 2 after a single day of Anavar. 3 day after oral dutasteride. How should I start any cycle initiating to prevent this? Not sure if you want to take your $10 because you're doing oral only cycles without understanding that it's a good idea. So here's what you're going to do. You're still going to do blood work. And when you have blood work, you're going to start with TRT and then dial in your estradiol dose. If you want to prevent gyno, look into roloxifene or Nolvadex. Both are linked to blood clots. You're welcome that I mentioned it to you, so do some research. This is your homework. Homework on where to do blood work, homework on how to manage your estradiol levels on a testosterone cycle, and homework on how to safely and responsibly use tamoxifen or roloxifene. You're welcome. Doing a winstrol only cycle is fucking stupid, and you deserve to get gyno. An Anavar only cycle is fucking stupid, and you deserve to get gyno. And dutasteride, well, it prevents the conversion of testosterone into testosterone, and it clearly says it in the label, in the leaflet that came with the dutasteride, might cause gyno. By preventing the conversion of testosterone into testosterone, you increase the ratio of testosterone converting into estradiol, which contributes to gynecomastia. So you've been stupid 3 times. And that's now it's time to stop that shit, Travis. Now it's time to do blood work and do your research. So take that $10 and well, you can't stick it up your ass, but you should invest that in blood work. And if that sounds harsh, then, well, I'm giving you the answer that you need to hear, not the answer that you wanted to hear. BMX Shark, 300 testosterone enanthate, 200 milligrams primo per week, pin 3 times. So that's 100 test and 66 milligrams of primo, 66.6, 7% body fat. Are you sure? You look pretty sure then. 30 picograms per milliliter estradiol before pinning. My libido is meh. Yeah, because your body fat levels are low, bro. Want to bring it higher. Still need lower body fat for track and field. Sprint trade. Jesus. Excuse me. Still need lower body fat for track and field sprint training. Strength ratio. Do I lower the primo? Yes, you can lower the primo, but while your body fat levels are 7% or lower, your libido will never ever be good, even if your estradiol is double. It's just part of the game, man. It's just part of the game. Man, when I diet, even below 10% body fat, my libido is not as good as it when I'm not dieting and my body fat levels are 15%. So fat intake, body fat levels, and duration of diet can determine how bad or how good your libido is going to be. And estradiol is just one component, but not the sole determining key component that everybody makes it out to be. If you want your good libido, let's say you have something important coming up, just get out of your caloric deficit for a week, increase your fat intake and drop your carbohydrates. So at least your caloric deficit isn't a surplus. So you stay at maintenance, you drop your carbs, increase your fats for a week. You kind of, get out of this diet phase and your libido will be great after a week, but it will go away again after you go back into the dieting phase. It just sucks. It's just part of the game. Nobody has good libido while you're dieting. It's just, unless you use copious amounts of tren and your wife is really, really hot. But even then, man, at 4%, 5% body fat, you don't think about getting a blowjob. You think about eating cheesecake, unless you use erythritol. All right, you guys are chatting amongst yourself. Greenland shark, that's the one. Greenland shark. Greenland shark are the largest species. 500 years. I thought I misheard it. 600 years. TMAO. Yeah. Here, Greenland sharks have high concentration of two nitrogenous compounds, urea and trimethylamine and oxide, TMAO, in their tissues, which increase their buoyancy. And it counteracts the protein destabilization tendencies of urea and deep water pressure. I might have misheard half of what they were saying during that video, or they misquoted the Wikipedia article. Have you tried Acto Vegan as an endurance supplement? Done many videos on it. No, and I excluded it from my deep dive because I'm not really convinced that it really works. I mean, there's guys that swear by it, but then they haven't tried EPO or myoinositol tripyrophosphate or TUM. What's it called again? Not tries. Yeah, tromethamine. TUM. Tromethamine injections. Yeah, so give it a try, man. If it works, it works, but I'm not really convinced that it works better than the tried and proven for an endurance compounds. Have you noticed a trend in growth hormone raising resting heart rate? Normal resting heart rate is 65, 75, depending on food, caffeine. When growth hormone jumps up to 85, Nebivolol doesn't help at all. Any suggestions? Yeah, it could be an increase in thyroid conversion, which you can block with Nebivolol. So I've heard about this. I never experienced it myself. I do my daily fasted, well, not now because I had leg surgery, but usually I do my daily fasted cardio. Which I will reintroduce next week or the week after when I feel that my ankle mobility has been returned because all the fluid was building up in there. So I walked tippy toes for 10 days or something like that. So yeah, growth hormone can increase resting heart rate. I think that's in the medical inserts. Is it in there? I think it is. Not sure. Can't remember. But it's probably in there under the contraindications or potential side effects. And yeah, if growth hormone speeds up thyroid conversion, increasing the deiodinase enzymes converting T4 into T3 by cleaving off one iodine atom, then yes, that can act on the thyroid receptors, stimulating your resting heart rate and of course heart rate during activity. So maybe check your thyroid hormones while taking growth hormone, or well, add in the cardio, and then you bring your resting heart rate and your cardiovascular endurance into a much better state. You know, depending on food and caffeine, yeah, obviously caffeine will stimulate the heart by blocking the adenosine receptors. Food can stimulate the heart rate just by requiring more nutrient partitioning and delivery to skeletal muscle and other metabolically active tissue. And if the bivalol doesn't help, then it's very likely that it's through the thyroid hormone receptor, by increasing thyroid hormones, by speeding up the conversion. So start low, build your way up, and keep doing your daily fasted cardio, bro. Do you think Reta and tirzepatide are good to use on a 7-day fast? No, it's too long acting. So by the time you start retatrutide, unless you start a week or two before fasting, then yeah, and then it's going to be too late. So if you want to fast, the tesofensine or liraglutide, which is, well, just a GLP-1, right? But it works the same day. So maybe, or the next day, it kind of works the best. So let's say you start a 7-day fast. You started on Monday, you start the liraglutide 1.2 milligrams on Sunday, and then you continue 1.2 milligrams until the day you break fast. Obviously, then you don't need to inject it. So you inject it for 7 to 8 days, and then you get full-blown appetite suppression, and not for 2 days afterwards, because it metabolizes from the body very, very quickly. Whereas retatrutide and tirzepatide takes maybe 1, 2, even 3 weeks to build up. So unless you want to start retatrutide and tirzepatide 2 weeks before you start to fast to get the maximum effect while fasting, go for it. But liraglutide is much faster acting, and well, tesofensine 250 micrograms every other day or every day. That's also a pretty potent appetite suppressant. And while fasting, it's probably a good stack, because you also increase your energy levels through selective serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine reuptake inhibition. Right? Yeah, that's the one. And Connor, what's up? Any meaningful difference in potency going from 150 to 300 milligrams weekly primo enanthate? Purely interesting in anabolism, and there will be a difference for someone already on 1 milliliter of testosterone enanthate weekly for strength. So if you're on 250 milligrams test and 150 primo, you go from 400 milligrams of anabolic androgenic steroids to 550. That's an increase of 30%. I'm sure you're going to notice it, but it's also a doubling of your aromatase inhibiting primobolan, meaning that your serum estradiol levels might be lower. So 250 tests and 300 primo might give you low estradiol levels. Strength will still go up because you have more androgens in your system, obviously. So blood work before and after, obviously. And yes, you will notice a meaningful difference because it's an increase of 30%. So it's the same difference as going from 1,000 milligrams of test and primo to 1,300 milligrams test and primo combined, or 2,000 milligrams steroids combined to 2,600, right? It's a percentage increase, not a milligram increase. You know? Oh, retardation incarnate. Go watch it. Go watch the videos and then come back in a decade. This is not the message at all. Exactly my thoughts. Yeah, see, Rainick agrees with that ban. Thanks, Steve. I did watch your liraglutide fasting video, and I wonder if it had changed. No, so that still stands. Yeah, that still stands. Liraglutide or tirzepatide are basically immediate or next day effects, and if you want the fast appetite suppression, then that is the way to do it. Yeah. Well, we're already through all the member questions and super chats. All right, that's good. Then we can answer some fun questions that are interesting. Hey, Steve, what are your thoughts on stacking Tren with Superdrol? Man, that's like a god tier fucking rape mode stack. So rape and pillage and enjoy yourself. Kind of toxic. So make sure you control your mood and your blood pressure. But yeah, it's I enjoyed myself in that stack, man. The weights did not enjoy themselves. They were fucking thrown all over the place and being bent and mutilated and violated. But yeah, that will give you God tier strength. That's IDDQD in real life. And if you don't know what IDDQD is, then different generation, dude. Steve, I got diagnosed with low testosterone. Doctor gives me 4 ml of Nebido all for 10 weeks. After 5 weeks, I feel bad. What can I do? Find a new doc or start sourcing your testosterone online and do microdosages once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times per week. Nebido only works if you go on holiday for 4 weeks. But 10 weeks, 12 weeks, it's just, they think it works, but they don't care about your feelings. So if the doctor is not working with you, if you can't convince him to give you half a cc once a week to make that 4 milliliter stretch out 8 weeks, which is again a very low testosterone dose. It's 125 milligrams Nebido testosterone endocannabinoid per week. Start sourcing it online, man. And I think I give you guys plenty of insights on where to source that online. So sometimes you got to take matters into your own hands, man, or find a new fertility doc. And if your fertility or your TRT doc, and if your TRT doc is not, it's not possible in your country, then fuck him, Then you got to take matters into your own hands and see if you want to go if the potential legal ramifications are worth the risk, which in my case, it was always worth the risk to me, wherever I was. Well, taking HCG and testosterone cycling ensure maintaining fertility. It will not be as bad, but it will not be 100%, as you will guys will see on the next week's fertility deep dive video series. And again, I have an HCG deep dive, so just give that one a watch. You'll preserve sperm counts, but progressive motility and morphology will still be in the gutter. DNA fragmentation might be terrible because HCG just stimulates spermatogenesis. It doesn't mitigate oxidative stress that will still occur while you're taking steroids. Steroids, in combination with training, increase oxidative stress to the max. So while HCG sustains spermatogenesis to a certain extent, if the oxidative stress is still shit, you're not taking N-acetylcysteine for glutathione or inject glutathione, vitamin C, taurine, selenium, keeping your estradiol level sufficient, methylene blue, right? Even though there's no real fertility data on methylene blue, but there's plenty of data, which we'll discuss in the fertility deep dive, right? If you treat your testicles well and you give it plenty of antioxidants, vitamin E as well, then your progressive motility and morphology will not be as bad as it could be. If you want the maximum fertility parameters, you need to come off cycle and continue with the HCG and FSH or do a full-blown PCT. But it will all be discussed in the fertility deep dive. And trust me, dude, I made plenty of mistakes in my steroid journey, even though I was more informed and more educated and more inquisitive on the knowledge than most people my age when I started at 26 years old. I got absolutely stellar, godlike fertility parameters, but because me and my wife were 40, after a year of trying naturally, almost 15 months, we decided on IVF. So by the time you're 40, you can probably afford IVF. And it's probably not required if your partner is young. So if you're 40 and your partner is 25, you can get her pregnant just by looking at her. But if your partner is 40, then it's going to take some attempts. So it takes two to tango, obviously. I've seen guys get their partners pregnant when they're, say, 30 years old and taking care of their oxidative stress, but they were completely azoospermic to start. Their partner was completely healthy, never touched steroids, but the male had like azoospermic, zero sperm in the semen. And then it takes them like 3 to 6 months to get like 6 milliliters of no, 6 million sperm per ejaculate. So that's fucking well below the fertility range. And then they still get their partner pregnant on TRT. Right? But that's after blasting HCG pretty fucking high. Yeah, all explained in the fertility deep dive. Steve, what are good supplements to lower prostate-specific antigen? I don't know. I honestly don't know. If your prostate-specific antigens are elevated, you have to find the cause. Is it frequent ejaculation? Yes, prostate-specific antigen goes into the semen and it helps with coagulation and liquefaction. Yeah, I learned that during the fertility deep dive, which will drop. Prostate-specific antigen levels go up with chronic ejaculation. So if you ejaculate every day, some of that prostate-specific antigen will go up and also be detectable in the bloodstream. If you get punted in the cunt or you get kicked in the nuts, you have inflammation in the prostate, and that increases your prostate-specific antigen. If you have a kidney stone that was dislodged, travels through the urethra undetected, but gets stuck in the prostate, that increases prostate-specific antigen. Well, a benign prostate hyperplasia, obviously from steroids or estradiol or oxidative stress, smoking, drinking, etc., old age, that increases prostate-specific antigen. So while I don't know what can lower prostate-specific antigen, I don't think there's supplements for it, besides maybe, what is it called? Salt palmetto, pygium, and reishi mushroom extract by lowering serum DHT levels. And that might also kill your libido. So I'd rather look for the cause than find a solution for the PSA levels that might be elevated from a cause that's benign. Yeah, find the cause and address it accordingly, and otherwise do an ultrasound. See what's going on. Because, dude, I've had consultations with guys in the porn industry, and their PSA is like 4, 5, 6, 7, and then they freak out. You send them for a prostate ultrasound, and then they even get a, fucking 4-quadrant biopsy, which is fucking crazy. They don't find anything. And then during this time, obviously, they're panicked. They don't do any scenes, and their PSA goes down. So they have a fuckload of hard sex on set for hours. That's why their PSA is up, and they use a penis pump and the papaverine and Cialis and all that shit. So they really treat their sexual organs a little bit abusively. Well, deep throats are not really abused, but like the medications being used to sustain the erection, obviously. And then their PSA levels are sky fucking high to the point that they think that they have prostate cancer. And then with biopsies, it shows nothing, but they're out of the, what is it called? Out of the scenes for 2 weeks, and their PSA goes down because there's no penile and prostate abuse during this period. So, all right, find the cause, and then the solution will present itself. Joshua Perry knows all the memes. If you don't know IDDQ Day, you're not man enough to watch Doom Guy for Life. Yeah, man. No, John, you're the demons. Let's see. When are you coming to Australia, boss? Not anytime soon. I'll probably, I think I'm gonna go to Bali again, end of April, with the wife. Like the last time I went on a proper holiday with my wife, just me and the wife, is a while ago, right? I went to the USA solo. I went to the UK solo. I went to Holland solo. Then we went to New Zealand, but that was with my best friend. So even though it was a great holiday, there's still like 4 people together instead of 2. And then we went to Holland and Dubai also last year. Dubai was the last holiday. So and then Holland were friends and family and stuff. So I just want to spend the week with my wife and no phone and no distractions before we have kids. So then it's been like 10 months because we went in June or July, was it last year? Yes, I think April, 2 months from now or something, I'm going to go to Bali. I'm going to rent the most disgusting villa ever and then disappear. Yeah. Disappear, smoke cigars. Yeah, but no Australia, no Australia on the menu, man. I will probably try another trip to New Zealand and maybe swing by Australia. Fuck, the trip to New Zealand is so far, man. Even Australia, it's like 12 hours from Thailand. I need to host some sort of seminar or something, or some sort of get together. Yeah, I need to figure something out. If I want to come to Australia, it should be for some sort of event where I can get compensated and make some money while I'm there, and then enjoy the fitness community. So if anybody's willing to organize a seminar in Australia, I'm game. Business class, please, and a decent hotel. The hotel doesn't. I don't give a shit about that. Right, 3 stars, fine, but business class is fucking mandatory from now on. Ben Creel took your advice and kept the Vigorous shirt on while giving my girlfriend a good 5 pumps. She's no longer hates the shirt. Oh, there you go, man. You just make him a believer. So you just keep the shirt on, You know, you put that thumb where the sun don't shine, and then you hit it from behind or from the front or both. And then they love the shirt as well because you get that vigorous pumping action going. You know, you convinced them somehow. Nice work, Ben. Good job. Joel Hansen Raw. You said, did you rename your channel? Is that a new channel? Glad to hear the healing is going well. My friend finally got to the Marriott buffet tonight. It was solid. What other buffets you like? Oh shit, yeah, and we need to hook up, dude. I'm mobile again. I can finally walk, so that also means I can finally go to the hotel buffets. What other buffets do I like? St. Regis, a Sunday brunch. It's last time I went there was about 5,000 baht, so that's alcohol included. Fuck, I was so plastered, dude. Unlimited cocktails. Steve, are you really a bodybuilder? You drink so much. So yeah, once in a while. When I drink, it's good. I drink properly. And then I don't drink for 3 months, right? The last time I drank was like 2 months ago. So give me a fucking break. No, it's not true. Is it 1.5 months? Yeah, 1.5 months. Next time I drink is probably April. So it'll be 4 months in between. I think that's fine. So yeah, St. Regis, right next to Ratchadamri BTS station. Sunday brunch, that's absolutely phenomenal. Marriott Marquis Buffet, I really liked. Uh, and that's honestly it, man. There's a couple like in Phuket, like a breakfast buffets, but usually you can't go wrong with the Marriott, man. The breakfast buffet at every Marriott is just absolutely stellar. The Marriott in Soy 4, right across from Nana, that or Soy 2. That's also a good one. I haven't been to another buffet in a very long time. I went to all of the buffets, and then every time you go back to the Marriott Marquis or Marriott Soy 2 because it's just 10 times better. I haven't tried Copper yet, but maybe that's something we can go together now that I'm on both feet again. Mustafa asks, hey Steve, I use 125 milligrams Sustanon per week and just started using HCG 250 hours 3 times per week. Took blood tests and my test levels went down from 25 before taking HCG to 10 after the HCG. Did you switch brands of Sustanon? Because I found that a very weird result. Yeah, I find that a very weird result. So, like, if you inject Sustanon once a week and you check it 7 days afterwards, okay, your testosterone might be 10 nanomoles, but it should be around 25, right? Middle towards the top of the reference range, and that much Sustanon. And the HCG, well, 250 IUs 3 times per week doesn't raise your testosterone and estradiol levels that much, right? For that, you'd really need 500 IUs 3 times per week, like I discussed in the HCG deep dive. So if you change brands of Sustanon or there's a difference between your injection date and the blood draw, then there's your problem. And well, if you're using Underground Lab Sustanon and Underground Labs HCG, then, well, again, your mileage might vary. Bali is a good time. Australia's Cancun. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun there. People are nice. I hope that guy that last time I came to Bali, and then there was some, you have all this the hecklers at the airport, right? Do you need a ride? Do you need a ride? And I checked on Bolt or Grab or something what the cost was to the hotel, and I don't know. Let's say it was $10 with the Bolt, and he wanted $15. So I said, but on Grab it's like $15, bro, or $10. Why do you charge 15? He said, well, in my car you'll be more comfortable. So I said, okay, fuck it. Well, let's give it a try. So he had a big, nice four-wheel drive car, like very spacious, good air conditioning. And then we get to the hotel, and I asked him, said, how much you charge for a day driving around? He's like, $30. Like it was a lot of money. $30 for the whole day. Can you fucking believe that? It must have been low season or something. So I'm like, yeah, sure. Meet me, exchange the, phone number contacts. And I'm like, yeah, meet me tomorrow at 9 o'clock. We're going to go to this place. So this guy drove me around the whole day for $30. And after the day, you feel kind of guilty, because it's basically free, dude. The one taxi drive in the Western world is $30. You don't get anywhere. This is literally the whole day with a guy waiting for us at multiple places. So stuff like $50 down his pants. And he's like, no, 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 no. I said, yeah, just fucking take it, dude, and meet me tomorrow again at 9 o'clock. So we ended up renting that guy for like a whole week straight, and then I tipped him. I left him some extra tip in the the glove compartment, which he found like a week later. So I'll give that guy a call. I'm sure he'll be happy with the service. And guys like, well, Steve, you're so generous. I said, well, It's just not fair sometimes how little people ask for. So you got to tip them accordingly, because if people do a good job, you just pay them for it. Bali's where it's at. Yeah, and there's a new gym opening called Undefeated Gym, which I know the owners or partners of the owners through. So I would like to go check that gym out. Shit, maybe even do a seminar. But we'll get to that once I start planning. Transpart love L-carnitine at 600 milligrams per milliliter, but worried about it lowering my absorption of T3 and T4. No, it doesn't lower absorption. It might inhibit the thyroid function. It doesn't lower the absorption. It might lower your metabolism temporarily. I think the clinical dose is 1,000 or 2,000 milligrams L-carnitine for thyroid storm. So if you don't have a thyroid storm and you just inject 500 milligrams carnitine intramuscular or SubQ, I think it's fine, dude. I think it's fine. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. You guys get too paralyzed by the scientific evidence, paralysis by analysis too often now. Please, it needs to stop. Because I'm worried about this, worried about that. You're taking minuscule dosages. Shut the fuck up. Not you particularly, Trent Sparks, but people are just getting so, what is it called? Well, scared to take shit. And if you're scared to take shit or you're worried about everything, then you're not going to have a fun time. You might as well not take anything. Really? Do you think me and Chase got this big by being scared? I didn't think so. Best cigar whiskey bar in Bangkok. These are the important things I need to know before moving. Okay. Let's see. Cigar bar, whiskey bar. I would say Whiskars, close to Soy Cowboy. That's a good one. The one in Patty is better. It's called the Empire Club. Let me see if I can find it. Empire or no? Yeah, Empire Club. That has a whiskey selection and a cigar selection that, dude, it's insane. Empire Club Patty. I'll link it down below. Is the website working? Yeah. That place I was really impressed with. Unfortunately, it's in Patty, yeah? But it's right next to El Gaucho. So you go have steak and wine first, and then you go to Empire Club. And then if you're in the mood, you just go to Walking Street, even though it's full with Indians and Russians right now. So again, mileage might vary. Whiskars, Gumbitsoy 23. Let me see if we can find a website for that. Yeah, they have. Their selection of whiskey is good too, man. But sometimes like the good stuff is out of stock. Like don't expect them to have something super fancy or like Beluga Gold or something. Like yeah, it kind of sucks. Beluga Gold is vodka, not whiskey. But they have great flights. So if you like whiskey and you want a flight of 4 or 5 samples, then definitely Whiskars. Good selection of cigars. And if you bring your own cigars, they have a cutting fee of like 400 baht or something. So that's pretty doable. Right? You bring your Cohibas in that are like $100, and then you pay the 10 extra dollars cutting fee. They'll cut it and they'll light it for you. And if you ask nicely, they might sit in your lap, right? If you're cute, you get that for free. Of course, you have to leave them a tip. But yeah, good service here, man. And then what else? There used to be one in the Intercontinental. I think it's still open. Cigar Lounge, Bangkok. Yeah, Humidor Cigar Bar. That one is nice. There's 3. Hope that's to your fancy. In your podcast with Wesley Vissers, he mentions that naturals with less obvious signs of high DHT aromatase conversion seem to respond relatively well to gear. Any more thoughts on this? I can't remember, man. I can't remember. Less obvious signs of high. So you mean that less DHT, less estradiol, but higher testosterone levels? Yeah, makes sense. If your body fat levels are low and you don't convert that much into DHT because of 5-alpha, what is it, reductase enzymes, isoform 1, 2, 3 are not that present, then your testosterone levels would be higher than other people, and maybe your androgen receptor sensitivity is also higher. So if you have the full Monty, then yes, you look better than other people, and then people might proclaim you to be on gear when in reality you're not. That happens all the time. Taylor Thompson, what is the best side enhancement protocol to bring up blanking triceps for a seasoned lifter that lives the life? Currently, you're running GHK copper. So that's the only side enhancement I have experience with, right? I have no experience with hyaluronic acid or synthol or some of these other compounds. So you're better off asking Paul Burnett. I know he experimented with pump and pose or something along those lines. But yeah, GHK copper, that's what I did for my triceps. Now, of course, I've been off TRT or on TRT for a while. So I, I went, geez, it's so difficult when it's mirrored. So I basically went here on this outer end, this entire area. I hope you guys can hear it. So before I didn't have a peak. So now I have a peak, which is, again, it's better if I'm on full-blown steroid cycle. All right, so I went all the way here, this area, and it hurt like a bitch, and I had to do weekly deep tissue massage therapy, 5 milligrams per injection per site, and then I would just go boom, 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 boom. Right, so that's one injection here, and then the next day a little bit lower, an inch apart, and then again the next day a little bit lower, and then I would train triceps again, and then in between I would do Grassstone technique, deep tissue massage therapy to kind of break apart the adhesions. Yeah, that might work. I mean, it worked for me, but it's a lot of pain that you have to go through. It is real permanent muscle though. It's not side enhancement that it doesn't grow in any tissue. This is real muscle that is functional because I also got a lot stronger on my tricep exercises. And the separation is still there, even though while you're running that protocol, there's just inflammation, no separation. So yeah, that takes a little while to go away. Joel Hansen says, I have 3 channels. Oh, holy moly, I need to step up my game. Regis was the one she mentioned me before. Yeah, man, copper is amazing, man. Talked to your wife the other day about it. Looking forward to it. All right, let's coordinate. Let's coordinate and fill our bellies. Sods, hey Steve, I'm 35, have low testosterone with all the symptoms. I went to the doc and my level is 10. Doctor gave me clomiphene. That's very irresponsible, but it is what it is. After that, my testosterone went up to 32 nanomoles per liter. Okay, so you have an increase of 3 times to the top of the reference range, but I feel like shit. Yes, clomiphene blocks the estrogen receptors in the brain, increasing luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone levels, but it also might act as an estrogen. So you can ask your doctor to switch to enclomiphene. Both clomiphene and enclomiphene have been linked to blood clots, so I don't think that they're very sustainable. I would rather have you on HCG monotherapy or on full-blown exogenous testosterone replacement therapy. I have videos upon videos on how to get that done on my YouTube channel. So just type in testosterone or HCG, and you can probably find a boatload of videos just with those keywords alone, and then start researching. Clomiphene and enclomiphene, not sustainable. For post-cycle therapy, sure. For fertility, when your wife needs to ovulate, sure. But for men, no. No. Ocular changes, mood changes, acting like a fucking bitch, feeling horrible. Again, blood clots, pulmonary embolism, not a good idea. Thanks, brother. Adding them to my list. I'll bring a liter of Kentucky bourbon with me when I fly out. All right. Well, I think that's an invite. Kentucky bourbon is good, though. Yeah, that's what I like about the U.S., right? Like normally I get whiskeys from Scotland or Ireland, or some of the Isles over there, and then Cuban cigars, and then you go to the U.S. and you get bourbons and Hennessy's and New World cigars from Cuba or produced in America. So you get a little bit of a flavor mix, and that's a lot of fun. I still have like a Padron. Fuck, what was the year? I think next week I'm gonna smoke a nice fat cigar. Yeah, when I'm fully walking again, I'm gonna smoke a fat cigar and have a glass of whiskey. Because after 18 years with that fucking plate in my leg, and then not being able to walk for a while. Now that it's removed and now being able to walk again, I think it's time for a toast. Yeah, you're putting me in the mood, man. Thanks. Goat Ninja, or the greatest of all time ninja. I'm having great results with Reta. I want to recommend it to my father, but he's 82. Do you know of any potential safety issues, precautions I should be aware of? No. So do your research. It will be a while before the Reta deep dive will be done, right? It's a couple weeks down the line. So right now, I would say, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's suitable for people that old because it does increase your resting heart rate, and that might be a concern. So do the research in the elderly, or and cross-examine that with tirzepatide research in the elderly, or semaglutide, which has a lot more scientific evidence behind it, assuming that's also in the elderly compared to retatrutide or tirzepatide. Like tirzepatide just got FDA approved under the brand name Mounjaro, but retatrutide is not FDA approved yet. So I haven't looked into clinical trials yet and see if there's any safety and efficacy data in the elderly. So cross-examine that with safety and efficacy data on tirzepatide and semaglutide, and then see if it's a suitable idea. But let's say if your father was healthy at 82, again, increasing resting heart rate, potential for hypoglycemia. But if he's otherwise healthy and you slowly got him through the process, then it should be okay. But if you're doing this for medical reasons because he has diabetes and he's obese and he has high blood pressure and that kind of stuff, then I don't think it's a good idea, man. Yeah. Is uric acid slightly below the reference range a cause for concern? No. No, it just means that you're fully hydrated and your purine intake is not high. All right. Did we meet in real life? Did we? All right, just reach out on Instagram. We'll figure something out. When you're here, reach out on Instagram and we'll figure something out, bro. What are your favorite stocks? Are you in Lily? Yes, I'm in Lily, bro. I don't really watch stocks. It's too slow for me. It's too slow, dude. These last, I had like two trades in Bitcoin, from the bottom of 91,500 to what was it, 108,000, and then I got this little bit on the latest data for the labor market, right, where they're underreported. So that means that quantitative easing, and then that they're probably going to cut rates a little bit more. So they had a little pump there, but I didn't go all in. But I did go all in on that previous panic selling, and then the pump to 100. What was it, 108? I made a fucking killer there, dude. And those are not gains that you're going to get anywhere else. Like Nvidia went really, really high, MicroStrategy went really, really high, but now that seems kind of tanking. So and I just have a couple stocks that I have for sentimental value, like Bayer, Norditrope, or Nordi Nordisk, Novo Nordisk, which went up a lot. Eli Lilly, I bought a little bit more because Mounjaro just got approved, and yeah, and of course Pfizer I let go a long time ago. Yeah, paid for my medical bills. Fucking assholes. So yeah, I need to get into tech stock, but I'm not sure which. And since I'm doing most of my research on cryptocurrency, and since the gains are more than even the tech stocks, I'd rather wait until the next crash, then do research into some tech stocks, and then decide where I want to put money for the next 5 to 10 years. Whereas with crypto, you have that 4-year cycle, and then all you need to do is buy low and sell high. It sounds easier than done, but once you figure out the cycle, then you know, then it's a little bit easier. Lily went up to 100, yeah, sure, and Ritter isn't likely to approve before 2027. So imagine when it does get approved, because you saw what happened to the Novo Nordisk stock after, semaglutide, dulaglutide, and liraglutide came to the market. It's crazy, and it's nothing. If you compare the Eli Lilly, Novo Nordisks, I think only MicroStrategy outperformed Bitcoin, and maybe Nvidia. I haven't seen a correlate. I haven't seen a chart comparing Nvidia to Bitcoin, but Bitcoin and altcoins outperform. But with altcoins, it's a little bit difficult. Which one? And now there's so many meme coins that it's just very difficult to really, and you can fucking lose your head over it. So like if you want to sit down for 12 hours to 24 hours, just watch the chart and then start panic selling when it starts crashing. Okay, but I don't really have time for that. So Bitcoin is a little bit safer. Not the altcoin market hasn't, altcoin rally hasn't started yet. The Ethereum is tanking. Solana is hovering. So right now I'm just doing, XRP did more, and what is it? Not Cardano, the other one, HBAR did more than ETH and Solana both did. So you really got to spread your chances. But then you also, if you're into like 15 altcoins, then it costs a significant amount of time to kind of manage that and do your technical analysis and stay up to the news. And then, yeah. So I don't want to go into too much stocks because then I'll really start to lose my mind. Even the president has a coin. Yeah, and that's a top signal. So when the Trump coin got launched and the Melania coin after that, that's like an end of the cryptocurrency bull market signal. Now, this is the first sign that it's the end of the bull market. All right. So that, again, I think that we still have some room to go, especially if you look at the stochastic RSI, or the relative strength indexes, is tanking, which is good because that means that for the next leg up, there's a fuckload of room to grow. All right. So if it like gets a little bit lower and it holds there and then it starts rallying, then we can go from what, 40? Where are we now? On the day chart. A second, guys. This shit is my life. It's not my life, but when you're significantly invested, and it's just where's the RSI? Stochastic RSI. All right. Oh no, that's not the one. Oh, yeah, it's on the week chart. Sorry. Fuck, where is it? All right, so yeah, RSI right now is at 40. So I think you can, if you draw a line through these, dude, if it goes to like 35 and then rallies all the way up to 82, Jesus Christ, man, we're gonna see like a tripling. Oh, I'm getting hard just thinking about it. Benjamin, Steve, cutting on the 3 IU's growth hormone per day. 3 weeks ago, I drop it to drop the water. Shall I reintroduce it again starting at 3 IU's, or shall I go lower? It depends on how bad your water retention was, because I think that, at 6-7% body fat, 3 IU's growth hormone is reasonably benign regarding the water retention. But you also dropped it from the traveling and the food abuse that occurred on traveling, and now you're trying to overcompensate for that. So honestly, I would just go back to 3 IU's growth hormone and start bulking again, and then worry about the water retention coming from the food, not from the growth hormone. Dr. Dean Stack is making my prep so insanely easy, eating more than ever, getting leaner fast. Yeah, it's a game changer, man. You should get an award for that, Stack. Yeah, it doesn't happen often, but that's why I have these guys on board. Like Kurt and Dean are like really, bringing new information to the bodybuilding community, just like we did with the Super Physiological Man podcast, right? That changed a lot of conceptions about how to run performance enhancing drugs, and I wanted to continue something like that. So who more suitable, or nobody more suitable than Dr. Dean and Kurt Havens. So yeah, I'm really happy that we do it every month. And next month is going to be episode 10, which is paralleling a Super Physiological Man. And we only got it to episode 10. So then this will continue every month for the next couple of years until one of us gets bored. Orlando Jr. did my blood work through finger prick test kit, came back, total testosterone 600 nanograms per deciliter, estradiol 24 picograms per milliliter, DHEA 473. How accurate can finger tests? How accurate do you think a finger test kit are? Well, blood is blood, so I would say it's reasonably accurate. Is the concentration of the blood different in the finger compared to the artery, that I'm not entirely sure, but I would say it's pretty much the same. So if whether the test comes from here or from here or from your nipples or your eyeballs or your anywhere else in the body, I think it's pretty accurate because it depends, on the testing equipment, not the like you only need a tiny amount of blood to determine the testosterone, estradiol, DHEA levels, and the blood glucose levels, for example. So I think they're pretty accurate. Is it super accurate by doing blood work and then setting it in for liquid chromatography, tandem mass spectrometry right away? That's probably more accurate. But on a standard test, I think this is pretty good. So I think your estradiol can be a little bit higher, you know, for this amount of tests and this amount of DHEA. Where's Bitcoin going to dump to? God, I want the Bitcoin to dump to the fucking 20-week moving average. I got a buy order at 8,700, 700. Or 87,700. Yeah, I got it. Or 87,500. I'm gonna put it in a little bit higher. I got a massive buy order at 87,700. And a little bit lower just in case. Like in case it wicks through at 84. But I don't think it's gonna hit it. But I'm going all in. I'm gonna prevent the market from crashing, guys. Count on me. It's not gonna dip below the 20-week moving average or the 21 exponential moving average for long. Not if it's up to me. Firelad, I get swelling at the injection site that remains for about a week. Whenever I use Pyro or Helios, is that a common reaction? Is there any way to improve or avoid this? Now, if you just get that from Pyro or Helios, then it could mean that you're allergic to some of the carrier fluids. Right? It's not oils, but it's suspended in liquid. Maybe it's too much benzoyl alcohol for you. And otherwise lower the injection volume to see if it still happens. And otherwise change brands. Right? I mean, if you go from AA to MA or vice versa, then maybe you don't get that effect at all. I don't get any reaction from the Helios that I'm using, but that's from BP. That's a different source than you're probably using. And again, if you don't know what the abbreviation stands for, then I explain everything on vigoroussteve.com. So if you want to improve this, change brand, and if you want to avoid this, change brands also, or dilute it with normal saline solution or bacteriostatic water. But then again, that also contains benzoyl alcohol, which might be the root cause of the inflammation and the irritation and swelling at the injection site. Yeah. I'm pitting lower abs. Don't do that. Underneath the boxer shorts, but not the lower abs. You take your shirt off, you got these welts on your abs, and then everybody's like, "What, bro? What the fuck?" Plus, you have a lot of vasculature there, so don't do it. Sean Mooney, a slice of cheesecake next cheat meal. Fuck, man, I can't have cheesecake, but I want cheesecake. I've been really good trying to adhere to this diet. Besides the 2 eggs that I had. But cheesecake has yogurt and butter and milk and flour and whatever. So, but yeah, I will put it to the cheesecake fund. Yeah, cheesecake fund. At one point, I really like my digestion right now. Administer intramuscular shouldn't have an issue. Yeah, it could still cause an issue, man. I've seen stuff like water-based stuff that go intramuscular or SubQ and still cause swelling. But yeah, you could give it a try. Didn't think about that. Yeah. Capillary blood is more concentrated, but not likely to impact anything other than glucose. Yeah. I agree. The Dr. Dean stack is insane. Well, you should call it the Dr. Dean stack from now on. It's insane leanest I've been during an improvement season, so an off season. Yeah. Yeah, it's I think I gained a lot less body fat than I would have otherwise because I was eating like 5,000 calories per day, and I actually got leaner in the beginning, and then I went on holiday again, and then I got fat. So when I broke 121 kilos, I was like, "Fuck this, I'm out." Now I'm about 106 kilos. It's a lot more comfortable. Shit, man, my mouth is so dry. Fuck. Still running I was running antibiotics for a while. That gives you like a nasty taste in your mouth. Those are coming out tomorrow as well. Just from the surgery, right? I mean, they cut open my leg, so, and they cut open my nipples and my armpits and even my cornea, right? So I was on a copious amounts of antibiotics, and you can literally taste that shit in your mouth, and it just makes your breath and nasty. Blue collar started injecting. Started using injectable SLU, 1 milligram in the morning. Holy moly! Probably a little higher dose than needed, but it's noticeably stronger and actually sweat a bit after the shot. Tried higher and can report anymore is too much. Wow, yeah, that's a pretty high dose. I mean, I run like 750 milligrams or micrograms to 1 milligram per day, but that's the oral version. But 1 milligram in a shot, yeah. I do know guys that run like 1 milligram to 5 milligrams. So you hear these reports, and again, if you go with the animal models, then it's multi-milligram dosages where the most benefits were observed. So maybe more is better, but with all that mitochondrial support, you'll probably feel wired as shit, dude. You feel wired as shit. Like if I do the full stack, 1 milligram MOTS-C, 1 milligram SLU, 10 milligrams methylene blue, and then some fat burners on top. Oh, some bromate, eh? Ooh. Oh man, wired as fuck, bro. Alexander Carrera, welcome back to the Vigorous crew. One day, Jay, become a member, send a super chat. I guarantee your question will be answered. Oh, somebody's complaining that. Can you see my chats? I keep getting skipped. There's just so many member questions, buddy. Started Richard recently, saved my life. I can still eat on 500 micrograms twice a week, or I can still eat is 500 micrograms or half a milligram twice per week. Fine for bulking and limiting fat gain. Thanks so much, Steve. You helped me so much. So I'm not, again, I didn't do the Richard deep dive yet, but from what I believe, what Chase Iron says is a 1/4 milligram once, twice, 3 times per week. Helps with insulin sensitivity and improves diet adherence, removes the food noise during an off-season phase and limiting fat gain. So it's like less than a milligram per week. So that's what you're doing right now, a milligram per week. Maybe lower it a little bit and then see if the fat gain is less and the insulin sensitivity is sustained. But again, I didn't get to that research yet. For me, it doesn't really make sense, but we're hearing more and more and more anecdotal reports that it is very beneficial during the off season. I've seen a couple of pictures before and after of people using retatrutide. I know that blue collar bodybuilding is using retatrutide, but then again, he's also injecting steroids and injectable SLU. So what is doing what? We're not sure. But if it's helping in the bigger picture and it makes you look fucking huge and shredded and lean, then and it keeps your blood work parameters good, then I'm all for it, right? And if retatrutide ends up replacing insulin, all the more power to us, dude. Then we figured out something new. No more bloated bellies. Reta's glucagon agonist is generally burning 200 calories a day, even in lean people. Okay. Yeah, I need to do research on this, but I've been so busy with other research. I just ordered injectable SLU and 5-amino-1-MQ2. I'm excited to see the benefits. Yeah, I think that's a great combination, especially at the end stages of a dieting phase. Like 5-amino-1-MQ, I wouldn't really use in the off season, but it can increase energy levels by preventing the breakdown of NAD+. So again, everybody wants to stay shredded nowadays, right? So yeah, that just means that you have to use more drugs, unfortunately. Yeah, I think it's okay just to get chunky a little bit sometimes and just rely on the food and gain a little bit of fluff in order for your health parameters and overall organ stress to be a little bit less. Yeah. Jim Fast. Hey, Steve, what were the costs for coaching on TRT? You can find all the rates for consultations, personalized advice by email, and the 10-hour consultation package down below. Yeah, it's not cheap. It's not cheap. So I have an ebook on TRT and a lot of videos on TRT, which are free. Well, the ebook is not free. It's like 25% permanent discount. So it's what, $20, $25, something like that. And then a lot of videos on TRT. So maybe watch those first. And then if you still can't figure it out, then do a personalized advice by email or a consultation. But yeah, and if you're Dutch, then it's probably out of your budget. The last time I consulted with a Dutch person was like 3 years ago, and that's three price hikes ago. Sorry, we're too stingy for what I'm charging. I price myself out of the Dutch market, and again, it's due to necessity because there's plenty of wealthy people who are willing to pay those price. And on the last prices that I charged, I was doing consultations 2.5 hours a day, and I got kind of tired of it. So prices went up, and now it's a comfortable, let's say, 3 hours a week. A lot more time to spend with my cats and my wife. Uh, Alex Herrera, I'm using a low dose of Richard 2, low, but it made my life a lot less stressful and able to focus on training. Well, you were focusing on cheesecake, focusing on hamburgers instead, right? So should I go to the gym or go to Gordon Ramsay and have some hamburger? Alex, you look fucking good, by the way. I saw those pictures with Aaron and your physique. Nice work. Nice work. Good job. As the only female PD lady that's frequenting the chat, you're one hell of a specimen. I can tell you that. Good job. Yeah, but low dose Richard seems to be the way to go, man. And honestly, for me, the older I get, the more busy I get, and the more financially secure I get. This is what my wife says. So we go out to dinner, and she's like, "Ever since you started spending money, you can't control your fucking appetite," and it's true. I don't know what changed. Like after 40, I had a certain financial goal which I wanted to reach by 40, and then I reached it earlier, but then I wasn't 40 yet. So I think I started becoming a little bit more freely with money spending after turning 40. And then my wife told me recently, I said, ever you started spending more money on food, it's like you're uncontrollable, like you're overcompensating. So I probably need to be on Richard to diet for life also. I'm dieting a little bit now. I want to get a little bit leaner again because I got a little bit chunky, and of course being immobile and stuff, it's from the surgeries. Yeah, it's not good for your body composition. So, but I'll probably introduce Richard to diet at one point. I think test Richard and then all of the follistatin stuff. I think that's a worthy experiment because Richard doesn't help with muscle gain, only with fat loss. But YK11, follistatin, and epicatatin don't help with fat loss. So I feel that that's a fair stack. And then let's see if I can have some better diet adherence. And I'll just run a low dose Richard afterwards if I want to bulk. But I'm 106, 108 kilos without trying. No growth hormone, 250 tests. Dude, I didn't train for 2 months. I'm 108 kilos. Fuck. So I don't need much to stay big, man. Buffet, yeah, buffet. Buffet is your kryptonite. I don't know what it is. I would used to be so motivated not to eat. And then as I get older, as I get more busy, um, I just so much shit that I'm missing. Like my wife's like, "Oh, let's go here." I'm like, "Can I do this?" Like I've been fucking controlling my diet since I was 15, right? Like I started going hard into this bodybuilding lifestyle. I was 15, eat all the bro foods and skip parties. And when you go out to, your family dinner and you bring your fucking Tupperware, and I'm so fucking over it. I'm so fucking over it, you know? And then now, okay, I just want to fucking eat. For the first time in my life, I just want to fucking eat, and I have the money to afford all of it. Like if I want to spend $500 on a steak dinner, right, every weekend, I can, because I worked my fucking ass off since I was 15. So I'm in my midlife crisis, I guess. So yeah, I need some Richard to bring me down a couple notches. Yeah, I have a fat man inside of me waiting to burst out. And then my wife is getting like a little baby bum, right? So I'm like, oh, it looks pretty cute. Maybe I can join her. No, no, I still like my a hint of a six pack. But yeah, it's the need to stay in super good shape all the time. Like J-Joff, that's like this is my bicep, right? But hyper, that's actually my bicep right there. Is it this one? No, it's this one. See? So if you compare those biceps, even though his picture is highly filtered, that used to be my bicep. That was ages ago. When I was juiced to the gills and taking this bodybuilding lifestyle super, super seriously. And as I get older, I'm like, you know what, 110 kilos, 12% body fat. Okay, I'm fine. I'm happy. I'm happy. For me, it's more about family now, and spending time with them. And if that means less shredded and less muscular, and also less drugs, obviously, then yeah, I'm okay with it, dude. All those mushrooms that I took when I was 15 to 18 years old to kill my ego it's finally working. It's finally starting to work. Inquisitus man, Trent can sometimes register estradiol. Why? Non-sensitive test. Yeah, can you explain how each steroid shows up in blood work? I think only Trenbolone shows up in estradiol, and nobody checks DHT, right? Like here in Thailand, DHT takes like 3 weeks because I think they send it to Singapore. They can't test it here in Thailand, so it takes 3 weeks to come back. So I only checked my DHT levels when I only use testosterone, never on test Primo or testosterone, test Winstrol, test Anavar, or other DHT derivatives. Obviously, Nandrolone, I've never seen detect as estradiol or testosterone. I can't really say that other steroids detect as testosterone on non-sensitive tests because my testosterone levels were always high. So whether it's the testosterone or the Primo or other stuff, I'm not sure because my testosterone over 500 milligrams per week is out of the reference range anyway, or what they detect. So, but yeah, Trend can detect as estradiol because it starts as estradiol, and then in 7 steps, which I discussed with Kurt Havens in the Anabolic Roundtable episode 2, in 5 to 7 steps, it's converted from estradiol into Trenbolone. So yeah, non-sensitive testing can detect Trenbolone as estradiol, and yeah, that's unfortunate. So you do sensitive testing, or you be ready when you do non-sensitive testing when you run Trenbolone that you can expect your estradiol levels to be elevated, and then it's a little bit difficult to dose your aromatase inhibitor. So you just go with a test of primobolan ratio of 1 to 1, and then you pray to the steroid gods that everything is going to be okay. Elvita, I've been watching Barbros recently. Do you ever wonder where the series could have been today if it continued? Yeah, I wonder. The problem is it discontinued because, well, Leo kind of lost his shit 2 or 3 months um, before it discontinued. And then somehow the police report that his wife filed leaked online where was it for a restraining order? I can't even remember. Such a long time ago. And then you go through those 130 pages of messages, and then there were some very weird messages aimed or about Derek, and then we just backed off, waiting for an explanation, which never came. So if that never happened, then it probably, if that police report never got leaked, like, and there was a little bit of friction between me and Leo in the back end, where I tried to help him and he would always reject me. But again, I was just trying to be a friend and help him, improve his stance with the fitness community, because he would always go after people and maybe increase his revenue, because it seemed that he wasn't doing so well financially, again, from observation, not from what he told me. Just trying to help him out, with affiliates and consultations and that kind of stuff, because it was absolutely killing it at that time. And then he would just kind of reject it. So, dude, I honestly think it could have been the best fucking podcast on this fucking planet. But yeah, Leo turned out a little bit different than he portrayed himself to be. Um, and yeah. And then he never gave us an explanation for what was posted in that police report, otherwise that it was faked. So that kind of turned me off and turned Derek off. And so we never made amends. And and then, well, whatever happened here happened. Yeah, that's still a giant mystery. So yeah, but if Leo was a little bit more composed and he had a better relationship with his wife at that time, I think Bio Bros could have been the best fucking podcast on this planet, and we've would have really um, changed the fitness industry for the better. But yeah, we had a 1 year break, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do the anabolic roundtable with Kurt and Dean. Even though both of them are not really so into nootropics and some of the other topics that we discussed on the Superphysiological Man podcast. I mean, you see what has come off the last 9 episodes. I mean, let's be fucking honest, man. We discussed some pretty fucking cool shit already, and it's only 9 episodes, 9 months that we've been doing this. So I can't wait for 2 or 3 years of anabolic roundtable consistently. And I have very good working relationship and friendship with Dean and Kurt. Met them both times that I met them has been absolutely wonderful. Again, I never got to meet Leo, and by the time we would have had a chance to meet in Thailand, it wouldn't have ended well because we were not seeing eye to eye. I'll tell you that. And Derek I met only once, but we talk very frequently. Actually, we just discussed about cars and that kind of stuff and fertility. And I sent him some imaging of my daughter, that I posted on Instagram, and he was like, "What the fuck is this? Is this Mount Rushmore?" You fucking asshole. So we had a good talk. So Derek I talk with frequently. I consider him a good friend, but I think me and Leo were never friends. We just had a working relationship, and I always felt a little bit of animosity from his side. Um, so it is what it is. But Kurt and Dean are absolutely wonderful people. And that's why I wanted to do the anabolic roundtable with them, because they're very smart. And every time I talk with these guys, I learn something new, which is rare for me, right? I mean, and in the end, you're like a product of the people you surround yourself with. So when I talk with Derek, I learn something new. When I talk with Alec Matrevsky once in a while, I learn something new. We wanted to continue the Bio Bros, but Derek is busy. Alex has his own stuff to do. So again, anabolic roundtable is where it is. So, and whether it's Derek, More Plates, More Dates, or Alec Matrevsky, or Dr. Dean St. Mart, or Kurt Havens, and right, Chase Irons and Paul Burnett and everybody else that I associate with, if I surround myself with people that are high energy, high positivity, and I can learn something new from them, again, which is rare, then I want to keep those people as close as possible. And Anabolic Roundtable is here to stay, man. Yeah. Can Kurt get a new shirt? That sweater is so ugly. Oh, come on, guys. It's about the knowledge, not about what we wear. I wear the same shit here, dude. You guys see the shit? How many of these do you think I have? Ooh. Ugh. One. I've been wearing the same fucking shirt for the last 4 years. This one, the only reason why it's the second one is because the other one is too small. It doesn't matter what we wear, dude. It's about the knowledge. Police reports are public in the US. Not in all states, though. Or in all states. In the US, you got to behave yourself, man, because you can easily find it. Or better yet, don't get in trouble with the law. Oh. There's an all-you-can-eat Indian food place like 2 minutes away from work, and all-you-can-eat sushi too. Need to stay focused. Yeah, if that's why I don't go out much. That's why I don't go out. I wonder from this discussion of Leo, how many of these YouTubers are going to start making reactions. Fuck, man. All these guys pretending to be friends with Leo when they were not, and then making reaction comments and then conspiracy theories about what happened. Cockroaches, dude. Fuck, YouTube cockroaches. Unbelievable. No, well, that's the minefield you decide to be a part of when you're a YouTuber. How do you use injectable aminos? Well, you inject them. And the dosage depends on which aminos you inject. So, yeah. There's there's many different kinds. So be a little bit more specific. Superphysiological Man podcasts were great. Yeah, they were great, man. I found them highly enjoyable. Highly enjoyable. They were like 4 hours long. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, that's why it was so weird, because like Leo turned out to be a little bit different than he portrayed himself to be, which got way worse when he got to Thailand. Yeah, and that's why it feels a little bit sour for me and Derek, how it all ended and then what happened. because Derek never got an apology, you know. And during that time where that police report was filed and all those text messages were sent, so when Leo disappeared for 2 weeks, and I already pulled him aside one time when he broke his hand. Remember? Yeah, did it rock climbing. Now you punched the wall, dude. Try to offer my help, right? So, dude, I know what it is to be in a relationship long term. If you want to talk, and we both know that you didn't hit your, or we both know that you didn't break your fucking pinky rock climbing. That's a punching the wall anger management issue. So anyway, that aside, when he was gone for 2 weeks, and then he appeared again when the police report was filed. I reached out. I said, dude, don't fall back into old habits, man. Don't start drinking. If you have a problem, you can talk. And then very abrasive at that point, and insinuating that it was a terrible friend. So I was like, okay, I tried. And then the police report comes out a couple of months later, where it was shown that he was boozing his fucking brains out and misbehaving towards his partner. And you're like, what can you do? You tried multiple times, and then at one point, enough is enough. No. Let's see. Let's move on to something more positive. Inquisitor's man, any quiz, well, whatever. Just turned 37, working in crawl spaces for a few months on my knees, won't stop hurting after 3 months. No swelling or bruising. Any suggestions? Switch jobs. So if it's like if you're constantly stepping up and down and hitting your knees, obviously you probably need to use some sort of protection stuff for your knees. Most of the street workers have those, right? They're just you clip them on, and then they're always protecting your knees. But it could be that there's a lot of inflammation within the connective tissue. Try boswellia extract, 500 milligrams. Let's say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times per day. For me, boswellia extract at 3,000 milligrams in total, so that's six servings of 500 milligrams over the day really help to lower the inflammation in my knees and other connective tissue, allowing me to have pliable knees without pain again. But as I got older, that was not enough, and then I needed to use nandrolone to increase the synovial fluid. So, yeah, give that a look. Give that a look. Maybe curcumin C3 complex to kind of lower the inflammation if there's inflammation, or again, change jobs, man. I mean, if you're doing manual labor, you can probably find something else to do manual labor, which is less intrusive and less invasive on your knee and connective tissue health. There's always another job somewhere else, man, even if the labor market says otherwise. What does a buffet with Joel Hansen even look like? Well, you wear gloves. You wear these black gloves, and then you whip out the what is it? The baby oil. Oh, that was different kind of buffet. That's a peach buffet. But Joel Hansen will wear the gloves, and then we go to town. Yeah, good stuff. Kurt is starting to joke around a little bit more in the anabolic roundtable. It's been great. Yeah, dude, Kurt's humor is next level, man. He's finally starting to loosen up now after a couple months, or it's been a year now, right? That's Kurt's been a part of the YouTube community, so it takes a while to loosen up, man. It's you need to do a lot of podcasts, you need a lot of camera time and a lot of experience. You know, need to take the comments so serious, even though sometimes I do. Sometimes I get fucking annoyed, but such is life. But yeah, Kurt is starting to loosen up and become a YouTuber, and it's been great. So all the shorts that you're going to get from the Anabolic Roundtable, they're all funny as fuck. I told my editor, said, give me the most funny, the most ridiculous shit that we talked about, like that Thomas Sartain joke, the fucking cooking meth joke. Good stuff, man. Yeah, I like Kurt. Yeah, Kurt's fun. Oh, I had to quit. Okay, so you quit your job. Yeah, man. If it's intrusive on your health, then just fucking quit, man. But the pain is lingering. Boswellia extract, and if that doesn't help within a week or two, then nandrolone. Yeah, nandrolone. All right, I think we run dry out of questions. There are more and more great minds in the online steroid space these days. Plenty of cool people you guys can bring onto the round table anytime. I'm open to suggestions, but I nowadays, again, based on my experience with Leo, I do a thorough research on people before I get them on my YouTube channel. Because every time I bring somebody on my YouTube channel, like before, I would just collaborate with everybody, right? But now, if I bring somebody on my YouTube channel, I'm silently vouching for them that they're good people, right? So I need to make sure that they're good people. And unfortunately, in the steroid space, there's so much bad information and so many bad people, even among the steroid educators, dude. It's people claiming that they can cure eyesight and can cure cancer, like all kinds of weird practices, and no citations to be found. And again, I didn't start off, posting citations either in the beginning, but I didn't claim to cure diseases. So you guys need to be very careful who you listen to, and I just need to vet people first before I bring them on Anabolic Roundtable, exposing them to Dean or Kurt, or bring them on as a podcasting guest. So I'd rather have people on there that have been part of the fitness industry for a long time, right? And let them prove themselves. I had to prove myself, and it took me a while to get noticed. Now I'm noticed. Paul is a force, Chase is a force. They have big channels. Think Big Bodybuilding Media has been a force way longer than I have. That's a good channel. That's good information. They bring on good people, but they're also very selective on who they bring on. So I'm open to suggestions, but I'm going to vet these people 100%. Like, I get reached out for podcasts two times, 3 times a week, and I just turn most of them down because I'm not interested. You know, I want to be careful who I attach my name to going forward. So if you did weird shit in the past, and you're doing weird shit currently, then I'm just not interested. It's that simple, right? I have a little bit of leverage, having one of the biggest performance enhancing drug channels on the planet right now, besides Derek, right? But Derek is kind of retired. Hi, Derek, you're willing to come back, bro. You know this. Once you finish once you finish playing video games, you're welcome to come back. And I don't mind doing a Bio Bros, just you and me. But until that day comes, this is basically the biggest bodybuilding performance enhancing drug channel that is fully cited with free information. And yeah, if people want to step up and join, then yeah, make sure you put out good content, and that feels valuable. All right, let's see, where were we? Do you listen to Dr. James? So I actually met Dr. James in Dubai. Seems like a nice guy. Um, Unfortunately, I've had some of his previous clients that I needed to fix, because the communication or the protocols were not really up to par. So I offered him a podcast when I was in Dubai, but it seems that he posts less content, and having helped some of his former clients, again, that could be a little bit more work done on a coach-client relationship. So I'd say it, but that's just the fucking truth. So yeah, I like Dr. James. Very, very funny video content. Short, snappy, good, great editing, good delivery of information. But again, there can be a little bit more job done on the coach-client side. Again, from what I've seen. So I offered it. The offer still stands. But he didn't want to come on. Video games, come on, pump out some kids, Derek. No, Derek is not ready yet, man. I think he can wait until he's 40 years old. He's like 32, 32, 33, give or take. His girlfriend is prime. Prime girlfriend, man. You really hit it. You really hit it off. But there's no time to rush into kids, man. I mean, he's still got a lot of things to do, like travel the world. I think he's financially secure enough. He's got a nice condo, a nice car, nice girlfriend that is certainly wifey potential, but why ruin that with kids when you can have kids when you're 40? I mean, I'll gladly help him through the process when he's ready. Um, so no, man, he's got businesses to run. Was watching somebody talk about growth hormone, secretagogues, and growth hormone, like they were saying you could do growth hormone in the AM and secretagogue at night. What are your thoughts? Yeah, it could technically work because the growth hormone that you took has been as metabolized by the time you take the secretagogue at night, and of course you get the highest growth hormone pulse at night, so you stimulate additional growth hormone secretion while you take that at night. Now, did anybody else make a growth hormone secretagogue cheat sheet like I did? No, they didn't. Fully citation with all amino acids that are known to increase growth hormone secretion and melatonin and whatever else, right? And stacking all these compounds together. Nobody else did that for free. I did that. Right? Not tooting my own horn, but you have a video about that, the growth hormone secretagogue cheat sheet, where I discuss everything to raise growth hormone secretion by doing the particular stacks. And could you take growth hormone in the morning and then get high growth hormone pulse in the evening? Yes, but somatostatin and IGF-1 are down-regulatory on growth hormone secretion at night. So if you take growth hormone in the morning and you increase your IGF-1 levels, which has a blunting effect at night, do you still get the maximum benefit of a growth hormone secretagogue, even if you combine that with, what was it, melatonin and a couple amino acids, GABA, etc.? I don't know. I'm not sure if that works. I would rather do growth hormone in the morning and in the evening, or a bolus dose at night. And because the cost, dude, growth hormones or secretagogues are expensive, dude. So expensive. They're all trying to make bank, you know. And if the trade embargo with China is if they're going to put tariffs on it, then guess what? All the peptides are going to increase in price, dude. Might as well get it from China directly instead of going through a peptide website. Do you believe that MK677 could cause long-term PTSD? I know there's people getting all kinds of side effects from compounds that should be reasonably benign. People get a permanent aromatase enzyme inhibition from a single dose of aromasin, and permanent libido issues from a single dose of an SSRI or finasteride or dutasteride. And maybe MK677 was shown to inhibit HPTAs to a certain extent as well. Could it cause PTSD? I would suspect that you need some sort of trauma to have post-traumatic stress disorder. So can MK677 put you in such a financial hole that you're so traumatized that you have a stress disorder afterwards? I'm not entirely sure. Like, I think 90% of the people that take performance-enhancing drugs have no business taking performance-enhancing drugs because they're not educated enough to take them. Like, I was researching for years before I started taking steroids. And I researched for years before I took most performance-enhancing drugs, or at least read most of the scientific literature, so I knew what I was getting into. Nowadays, people pop these drugs like candy. And are they healthy? Are they mentally sound? Do they even recognize their own reflection when they look in the mirror? We don't know, dude. So you hear these complaints all the time, like, compound XYZ gave me problem XYZ. But I don't think that occurs in people that do the research and are healthy. I don't think that happens in people who take these compounds on a fly and just treat their body like fucking garbage cans. So if you treat your body like a garbage can and you don't do your research, then karma's a bitch. You know, karma's a fucking bitch. So if I never had any of these problems and I took more drugs and experimented with more compounds than I think anybody else. Fuck. I took all kinds of recreational drugs and all kinds of performance enhancing drugs. If the water prohibited list was a bingo card, I would fucking win. I would beat everybody. I would beat fucking everybody with the compounds that I took and the compounds that aren't on the list. I would beat 4D bingo. I would beat everybody. And I never had any of these issues. Never. Well, what did I have? Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. That was a food issue, not a drug issue. It was a food issue. Fucking eat like a fucking motherfucker when I'm off season. Well, I got gyno. Ooh, I got gyno. Oh no, I got a little bit of pimples. Did I get hair loss? No, no, self-induced. So, but I've been cooking my own meals and doing the cardio and then having the supplementation and doing blood work since I was 15 years old, man. 15 years old. So I don't know how people get anhedonia from ashwagandha root extract or get post-finasteride syndrome from gorilla mind shroom. I don't fucking get it. I don't fucking get it. But there's people out there that just fuck themselves or they're already fucked and then a little bit of a drug pushes them over the edge. That happens, man. So the best thing you can do is just make sure that you're not fucked. It's, you know, with a lover, because they'll be sad, no? Okay, no more super chats. So this is the last one, Jay, because we're going to throw in the towel. Otherwise, I start rambling, and then I really get all these reaction channels all over me. Remember when Palumbo made a reaction? Black Cowboy Boogie. What's up, big guy? I can love that username. My wife has constant inflammation in her shoulder. What peptides help with inflammation? So if she's tugging you all the time, just give her a my shoulder hurts. Yeah, but babe, I get it. It's either that or a blowjob. Okay. And then, oh, my shoulder hurts. So maybe give her a break from the tug jobs. But in all seriousness, it's getting late. It's 2:30 in the morning, guys. What do you expect? At least I'm performing a lot better than last week. Last week I was not into this shit. So try to pinpoint the root cause. Like if she's doing a lot of manual labor or just moving around her arms, just give her a week off from whatever it is that she's doing, right? Repetitive stress injury could be the underlying cause. And otherwise it's just the good old peptides, man. 1 milligram TB500, 1 milligram BPC 157. Split up the dose if you have to. Inject it as close to the shoulder injury as possible. Half a milligram of each in the morning, half a milligram of each in the evening. Feel free to combine it with a dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitor to prevent the breakdown of TB500 in BPC 157, extending the half-life and the potentiation of healing, lowering inflammation, increasing vascularity, what was it, angiogenesis, and then the overall collagen synthesis and increased growth hormone receptor sensitivity coming from BPC 157. I'd feel free to combine it with growth hormone as well, which is not broken down by the dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitors or dipeptidyl peptidase 4 enzymes. So a DPP4 enzyme inhibitor would not increase growth hormone levels, but it will increase the levels of TB500, BPC 157. Januvia, for example, is a good selection. Sitagliptin. And then if she's up to Anavar, 5 milligrams per day, 25 milligrams DHEA per day, 2 IUs, 3 IUs growth hormone per day. GHK copper, if she can tolerate the post-injection pain, 100 milligrams micronized progesterone, lowers inflammation and relaxes the skeletal muscle as well. Yeah, I explain everything in the Gynecomastry deep dive, and the solutions are pretty much the same for all kinds of issues and injuries that have to do with inflammation. Yeah, so I hope she gets better and then can get right back to satisfying your needs. My Black Cowboy Boogie BB, what was it? BBC? BBC man. Yeah, why didn't you call yourself Big Black Cowboy? That would be Big Black Boogie, Big Black Cowboy Boogie. That would be way more appropriate, bro. Joshua, I totally used that cheat sheet for those aminos before I realized the dark side of the force is a pathway to some ability that some would consider to be unnatural. Nice one. I need to have a drink with you one time, man. Joshua, can you guess the name of my daughter? I bet you get it in one go. And then we're going to close it off. Manowar, holy moly, 28 Canadian dollars. It's like 5 euros. I'm 43 and I've done Windsor only for over 15 years. Dude, what are you doing? Oral, 8 to 10 weeks. It was the most amazing thing I've ever tried. Now I'm thinking about taking maybe Anavar only for 6 weeks maybe. What do you think is a good idea? I think you're 18 and not 43 years old. But dude, if you want to go for it, man. Please check your lipids. Please check your sex hormone globulin. Please check your total testosterone and estradiol levels. If your libido takes a beating, it's on you because you need testosterone, estradiol, DHEA for libido to function. So I don't think it's a good idea. And yeah, if you can afford 28 Canadian dollars for a super chat, I'm sure you can afford some exogenous testosterone as well. So, or at least HCG monotherapy, which I have an HCG deep dive. So if you want to do an oral only cycle, just run a little bit of HCG alongside of it. You keep your dick active, you know? Yeah, I don't like the question at all, but it's $28, man. At least it gets you noticed. $28 gets me free cheesecake plus the cheesecake that the other guy donated. Dude, man, I have like 4 cheesecakes tomorrow. I'm going to be obese. Thanks, guys. Mentor EQ is the second addition to the third blaster test. Double thumbs up. Go for it. And why not both? Because EQ prevents the aromatization of ment into 7-alpha-methyl estradiol and the aromatization of testosterone into estradiol. So if you do 500 tests, 600 EQ and 100 ment or 150 ment, excuse me, I think your serum estradiol levels are going to be pretty good. And well, more steroids means more gains usually. Jackie and I will come on for an alien UFO roundtable. It was a big hit with Paul's channel, yeah, and probably everybody pissed everybody off talking about UFOs and aliens. When I was on there for 2 weeks ago, when we talked about stocks and some other stuff, and then people got pissed because we didn't talk about performance-enhancing drugs. Sorry about that. The new generation is weak. Not all of them, but it's yeah. This TikTok generation, fuck man. I feel I'm gonna have to sit my kid down. Serious. Zelda. No, that's not the one. We have a cat named Zelda. She's beautiful. But we named our daughter after a Deep Space Nine character. That's the last hint I'm going to give you. Yeah. Yeah, it's not Odo. Garrick. You named your daughter Garrick. Thank you for all the content, Stephen, especially tonight's live. Had a great evening chatting with the Vigorous crew. Yeah, man. Today I'm in a good mood. I hope it's noticeable. Man, a lot of made a lot of cash last week, and it always puts me in a good mood. Steve, you shouldn't be so financially incentivized. Well, you have to do IVF and you have to drop 30,000 in one go. You better be financially incentivized. Yeah, there you go. We got a fucking winner. And with that, we've reached the end of the chat. Jadzia is going to be the name of my daughter. Now we have a second Thai name. But yeah. Best character in Deep Space Nine. Besides Benjamin, obviously. And Jadzia was also beautiful. Still is. Yeah. Unlike Esri, the girl that played Esri Dax after her. When you look at the pictures, yeah, she didn't age well, and she was way younger than Terry. What was it, Pharrell Terry? Yeah, so Jadzia, we 7 years ago we watched Deep Space Nine. I think it was like a VHS rip for 480p, right? So it's like this screen. 7 years ago, we watched that, and I told my wife, said, when we have a daughter, a couple of years from now, we're going to name her Jadzia. I said, nobody will ever be able to pronounce that. I said, that's good. Nobody can pronounce my name, Stefan, either. So we can come up with a nickname. Steve, Jadzia, we can call her Old Man. So we had that name for 7 years, and now we're watching Deep Space Nine again while my wife is pregnant. So my daughter can kind of get used to this Deep Space Nine, and then by the time she's ready to watch Deep Space Nine, dude, fingers crossed, there's actually a Blu-ray version, because right now we're watching like a 960p upscale, which used AI. So every time there's like a little bit of fog, the face contorts into a bad acid trip. Yeah, so we've been watching Deep Space Nine. We're now, I think, season 7, episode 16. So tomorrow I'm going to marathon it. And then, even though season 7 doesn't have the actress that played Jadzia Dax, because she was killed off because she didn't extend her contract because she was kind of bullied. So another story for another day. But yeah, it's I've had that name for 7 years, and it's a couple months down the line we'll have a Jadzia of our own. Fans are upscaling the show. I don't think Paramount wants to make money. Yeah. Paramount, dude. I honestly, last thing before we close it off, I think Paramount, Disney, and by using Star Wars and Marvel, I think they're purposely trying to crash their stock. I honestly think that the only reason why they're raping these franchises is to crash their stock, and then BlackRock is going to start promoting Paramount stock and Disney stock again. Because when you look at the stocks, dude, it's like almost at a level where it would be a good buying opportunity. And then when you compare that to another leg up, it wouldn't surprise me that within 2 years, Marvel Studios, Disney Studios, and Paramount suddenly gets their ass out of their head out of their ass and starts producing good content again, and then you see the stock skyrocket. It wouldn't surprise me at all. This is just market manipulation at the highest fucking level. Or fingers crossed, because well, Star Trek is raped right now, Star Wars is raped, and Marvel is raped. And with that, that's 3 rapes. I lost monetization. Ban Goat Ninja. Picard is an amazing sequel show. Yeah, Picard it's terrible. The 3rd season was all right. Yeah, and Picard and Data were not homosexuals. Everybody knows that Garrick is the only homosexual in Star Trek. Okay, let's leave it here, guys. It's been long enough. I'll see you guys next weekend. And Joshua, dude, if ever we got to have a drink sometime. You're a fucking legend. We got to definitely share some 80s and 90s stories. All right, guys, we'll see you next weekend. Peace out. Enjoy your weekend. I know I will, because I'll have to eat 5 cheesecakes. And that means Extra Fatty Steve is making a comeback. All right, peace out.